The
No,
Constitution.
probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
And you're not going to fire Jay Powell. We'll go all talk about all the stuff that.
Hey, Becky, I'd like to run. I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. You know why? Because people love the tariffs, and they love the trade deal, and they love that countries. And they love that foreign countries aren't ripping us off anymore. For years, they ripped us off, friend and foe.
Sitch.
Yeah. What's up?
What do you think of this? This clip. I always go back to this clip.
I would love to run. I would love to run, Becky. But you know, I'm so old. It's just what. If Trump was younger, I would actually think that there was a good. Well, I don't know. I'm conflicted. If Trump was younger, I would think there'd be a good chance he'd try to run again. But his ego is so grand, is so great that I could see it. I could see very old Trump 4 years from now, 3 years from now, trying to run again.
This clip is from CNBC. I think it's maybe 3 months old, maybe 6 months old. It came out a while back. Let's listen to it one more time. I want you to listen to Trump closely because he does this thing where he kind of giggles. And I think it really gives up the game that he's just fucking with people. So he's on CNBC, which CNBC is obviously very serious. It's the business news, right? They do joke around sometimes, but it's not. They don't go into this is like terrifying for the business community, right? Trump is going to do another January 6th. They're like shaking in their boots. So I don't know if that little giggle, I think that little giggle serves two purposes. It's to chill out the business community and send a signal, oh, I'm just fucking with these people. Well, look,
I think you're granting Trump a level of 10D chessmanship I don't think exists.
Well, it would all be intuitive. I'm not saying Trump is sitting down and thinking, okay, well, I have to, there's this calculated way that I have to signal to the business community. I'm just no, he does all of this intuitively, but I think that is the message that's being sent. So listen, and
I'm going to listen real close.
Here we go.
Are you going to run again? The
no,
Constitution.
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
And you're not going to fire Jay.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear it. I understand what you're saying. I hear it. I hear the sound. We're getting to the. It's so interesting. It's so fascinating how people can create a brand or a persona that allows people to psychologically deal with them in a way they don't deal with other people. And so let me give you an example. South Park is a good example of that. South Park, despite being very anti-woke, despite being very, intentionally edgy and controversial with their humor, they were able to completely skate by during the woke years, directly making fun of wokeness, and no one really cared because it was like, well, it's South Park. What are you going to do? Like, it was just kind of like expected. Like, it's psychologically
they're unmanageable.
Right. Like, it's psychologically embedded in people's minds that's just like the nature. And maybe this is how it works. That is the nature of the beast that is South Park. So therefore it is useless or stupid to criticize it because that's just like, that's what it is. Okay. That is the nature of South Park.
Yeah. It's reality. You're fighting against reality. I like this analogy.
Right. And it's interesting because Trump has created this brand for himself too. And I think this is the strongest psychological effect that any individual or company or something can do to strengthen itself. Because, and I'm sure we've talked about this before, where there will be people on the left who will say things or do things in a specific way, and I'll point to it and say, okay, like, I know what they mean, or I think they're joking, but it's really stupid for them to say this because all they're doing is they're just lending credibility to the other side's argument. They're just strengthening the right's argument against them by making them look crazy or woke or whatever, right? And you could say, and you should logically and consistently say, well, this should apply to Trump in this exact situation. There's this big conversation that's been happening forever about Trump. It was like, is he a fascist? Is he a dictator? Blah, 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 blah. And every time he does this, even if it's 100% a joke, it's playing into that exact thing. It's giving ammunition to the Democrats to point to it and to say, well, look at this. He is an authoritarian. He is running for a third term. He is, doing all these bad things. And yet it's weird because it doesn't exactly psychologically hit that way, because there's like this weird effect, this weird branding, I think, for Trump, which is that like the goal is to trigger the other side, to make the other side angry. Therefore, people just say, yes, that's what I want. I want him to make them more unhinged, not less unhinged.
So that's kind of different than the reputation thing. Just on the reputation thing, this is one of the 48 laws of power, Robert Greene's 48 laws of power, law 5. So it's close to the top. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. And he gives many examples in the book that are interesting of situations where things play out exactly like you're saying with the South Park and with Trump. People just, they lean into the reputation. The reputation kind of biases them to think, okay, well, this is how this situation is going to go if I push back. So I better not really push back because it's fruitless, or it's going to go in a direction that's going to be even worse. So I do think that's a very astute what you're saying. That's a very important thing to point out. Yeah. The what was the second point you made? Because I think it
what I'm saying is that
deviated a
the
bit
reputation, like the reputation of South Park is to be edgy, right? Is to be controversial.
You're whispering again. You're on a show.
And then something's wrong with my mic because I changed nothing, and you say that my audio changes wildly. So,
okay.
But it's what I'm saying is that with South Park, the reputation is to be edgy, is to be controversial. Where with Trump, the reputation is that I'm talking about is, oh, we like that he will say something that will upset the other side, that will trigger the other side, that will make the other side go crazy. And I think part of that is just the emotional joy of making the people you don't like mad. But then also part of it is the fact that, at least right now, the right, or people that are Trump supporters, perceive it as politically effective, where if someone on the left does something to like try to make the right crazy, it's not really seen as of yet to be politically effective. We haven't seen a test case of it working so far. I mean, you have Gavin Newsom and some other people that are trying to do this on X, but we haven't really had a test case to be like, oh yes, this actually is working, and these people are gaining political power by doing this.
So obviously there is a giant appeal to voters. A lot of people voted for Trump because they like that. They want someone that's going to beat up on the left. It's fun. They enjoy it. They enjoy seeing the left getting triggered over it. I don't necessarily see how that ties to the reputation thing or why people are letting him get away with it. But
no, because that's why I'm saying that's why they let him get away with it. They like that he's doing it. I mean, they like that he's doing it. I'm saying he can get away with doing that because people enjoy it in a way that if there was a Democrat who was saying something that would joke, like if they're like, think about it this way. Maybe we need an example here. Imagine if like AOC or some Democrat made a joke that was about like transing the children or something, some, hot button topic that gets people on the right like really activated.
Well, AOC went for the height thing to try to trigger people. That's kind of
the height thing.
Yeah, she said that one of the Trump administration guys was super short. He had short man
but that
vibes.
doesn't. No. But it's got to be about something like
Stephen
the whole
Miller,
Trump running again. Yeah, but I'm saying the Trump running again plays into a pre-existing narrative of the fact that Trump is authoritarian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's something more than, it's not an insult. It's just playing into some sort of potential policy or plan that would play into a negative stereotype that the left is using against, that the left is complaining about him doing. And I'm saying that if we had AOC who played into a negative stereotype the right has crafted towards the left, such as like, oh, she's like in favor of transing the children or something to that effect, I don't think it would have the same effect of people on the left saying like, LOL, look at her, joking about transing the children or joking about doing something like that. It's like, it's triggering the right, like, LOL, it's so awesome. I don't think it would be perceived the same way.
Right. Yeah, I agree to some extent. seems like I have heard people make jokes about, oh yeah, we want to trans all your kids, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Not as prominently as Trump.
But that's what's my point. It doesn't hit the same way that, like, maybe some people in those circles think it hit, but it doesn't hit the same way. I think broadly that the way, if you perceive Trump as joking here, it doesn't hit the same way.
So, like, obviously, you said in the beginning that I was giving Trump a lot of charity. I don't think I am. I think I'm just looking at this little behavior, this little snicker, like, they're getting so triggered over this. And the fact that he's saying probably not, which really to me, he's saying, of course not. Come on, I'm just fucking around here. But look, I could be wrong. I think Trump definitely would run for a third term if somebody came out and said, oh yeah, there's this way that you can do it. You need to get this Supreme Court case. I mean, he's probably working on it. He's probably got people working on it.
Well, then you think he does want to. What do you mean?
Yeah, the people who are, this little clip makes me think the people that are coming to him are telling him, don't get your hopes up. This is a long shot. This is like a 1 in a million shooting the moon shot. But Trump is the kind of person that's going to be like, okay, well, I like to shoot the moon. Let's see if we can do it.
Of course.
He's going to definitely put resources towards it. You're talking to a guy who every time I play hearts, I try to shoot the moon. Like, that's the only fun of that game, is trying to do the 1 in a million thing that nobody expects. Oh, it's so great. Trump is in that situation now, winning a second term, a non-consecutive term, because look, Trump goes out, he's like, look at my hat, it says 45, 47. All your hats just have one number.
Yeah, but what if his had 3 numbers?
Oh, he would obviously love that. He'd go for 4.
Right.
The 4th terming is here. Come on, you love puns, Sitch.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. There was some clip, I don't know if you saw it, where he's like on Air Force One, and someone was
we're gonna watch it.
Oh yeah, the cute clip. That'd be cute to do that. Okay.
I can't figure out who has the best audio on that though.
Well, it's on the airplane, so no one has the best audio. It's gonna be
President Donald Trump on Monday declined to dismiss speculation that he would seek a third term, saying he hadn't considered whether he would go to court to contest the U.S. Constitution's 2-term limit for presidents.
I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? I mean, you'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people, which they don't.
But what barriers stand in the way of another term? Scott Anderson.
That's the clip you're talking about, right?
No, that's not the clip I'm talking. It was in that same.
This is like the brand new clip.
No, but it's in that same scenario. Someone asked him, like, would he run and he'd be vice president?
Oh yeah, he talks about the bench. We can watch the whole clip. It's
right,
just
and
massive.
then the president quits, and then he's president again, and he makes some comment about it.
Here's the whole clip.
That there could be plans for you to be able to run and potentially win a third term in 2028. Is that something you'd be willing to challenge the court to be?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. We have some very good people, as you know, but I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. I mean, I just solved 8 wars, and a 9th is coming. I believe Russia-Ukraine will happen.
You said that for 2028, they're very good people.
Well, we have great people. Well, I don't have to get into that, but we have one of them standing right here. We have Jay.
Okay. You see that giant head shake?
Yeah.
You think Marco's running for president in 2028?
I like. It's like we got Vance and Marco here. They're gonna fight in 4 years.
Marco's laughing. Oh God, it's so funny. Just you're so right about the reputation of Trump, though. It's just like you can't do anything about it. He's a force of nature. Yeah. Everyone's like, this is our life now. Here he is.
It's interesting.
Here he is. It's like negotiating with the hurricane.
Right.
Obviously, the vice president is great. I think
Marco's great. I think I'm not sure if anybody would run against us. I think if they ever formed a group, it would be unstoppable. I really do. I believe that. I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it.
This is a good strategy that Trump did, the coalition, because I think a lot of people voted for Trump because they thought, okay, you get Trump, you get Elon, you get Kennedy. They're like, there's all these. You get Tulsi. He picked all these popular people.
Mm-hmm.
You get Vivek, even though I was like, Vivek is never going to be part of this. Well, Peter Boghossian told me he thought Vivek was going to be his vice presidential pick, and I was just like, no, that's not happening. Get out of here.
He might have been if things turned out differently, if there wasn't all the H-1B visa like shenanigans and people triggered.
Oh, maybe saying, yeah, because he totally fucked up, didn't he?
Right, and people getting, the more ulti-righty people getting very triggered about him saying that America was like
America's an idea, not an ethnicity. They're like, what?
Right. They're like,
go back to India. Anyway, it is funny. So he's basically pitching his strategy, his winning strategies. Like, if these guys got together and formed a group, if all of these super popular people came together and said, look, here's the right wing ticket, they might even pick up Elon again, right?
Well, see, but this, to me, like him going through all this would be far greater evidence or far greater persuasion that he was not actually thinking about running, if he's like actually hyping up other people and trying to lay out some sort of what he thinks would be a winning coalition versus him just making the comment on CNBC.
What if JD Vance runs with Trump as his Secretary of State? It's
hard for me
right?
to imagine that Trump would want, that'd be such a downgrade. Like, why would Trump want to do that?
Because he wants to be in the room. Do you think he doesn't want to leave the Oval Office?
Yeah, but then no. See, that'd be a huge.
He
mistake.
Doesn't want to march off into retirement. That would be he's like, I'll be Secretary of State now.
That would be such a massive mistake, because then he would be in a position where he was the president. Everyone has to do what he says. He's the ultimate decider, and then he would willingly put himself in a position where he's going to be in the same room with presumably a lot of the similar people. But now he just has to listen to JD Vance. He's not the decider. He has to be the one that's subservient. I don't know. I just feel like that would be like he would never choose to put himself in that position.
I think it's more likely that JD Vance wouldn't choose to put himself in that position, because if Trump was taking Secretary of State, I would think, as JD Vance, I would think, okay, well, this guy, he's thinking he's running the presidency from the Secretary of State office.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. That
he
would be
thinks, he is going to be like bullying me to make the decisions he's actually making.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what their relationship is like behind the scenes. So, that would be the difficulty. Would it be? Obviously it is a downgrade in status.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay? You've got JD Vance, a one-term president, and you've got a 2 non-consecutive term former president, which is really the top of the hierarchy, right? There's no higher status in that. CEO is not higher than that. 2-term president's not higher than that. Trump is at the top of the status hierarchy already. So that's not going to change because he takes Secretary of State. Like, he's already at the top of the hierarchy.
Well, first of all, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if I would conceptualize a 2-term consecutive versus non-consecutive president. Which one is higher status? Like, obviously the non-consecutive is far more rare, but I don't know if that equates to higher status or not intuitively.
We could ask the chat, but we all know how that's going to turn.
Well, yeah. But no, like
it's obvious for me, because it is unusual and it's far more difficult. Like, you have every advantage when you're running for president and you are president.
Yeah, but I'm just more talking about like who's on top of status. It's like a lot of this is intuitively thought about. And I could really see it going either direction, where people either say kind of they intuit it to the way you're saying, or they intuit it to the way of, well, there must have been some like fuck up. He must have fucked up somewhere along the way because that's why they didn't vote him a second time. Like back to back.
My thinking is very clear. It's that the higher status comes from doing things that are more difficult.
I understand.
More challenging. And it's just obvious to me that it's more challenging for a 2-term non-consecutive president to pull that off. That's far more challenging and far more risky, obviously, because you're dealing with the stakes are so much higher.
If we were to like think about this, okay, Donald Trump is JD Vance's what'd you say, chief of staff or secretary of state? And
Secretary of State is a big one that everyone wants. That's like
right.
And Trump knows that because everyone was sucking his dick like crazy to get Secretary of State.
So if he's Secretary of State, I mean, there would be so many every story every day from the media that hates Trump, or the media outlets, I should say, the media outlets that do hate Trump. Every story every day would be they'd just be so hungry to report and to look at stories where it's like Trump said something in the White House during a meeting, and JD Vance, disagreed with him and didn't do it and told him to fuck off. And here is Trump's diminished status. I just feel like that'd be the reported story every day, just to try to needle him again and again and again.
Yeah, they've been doing that for 10 years.
Okay. Well, I just doesn't make sense to me that he'd walk willingly into that, but whatever. We can move on because this is a highly hypothetical. Also, he's going to be ancient, in 4 years. Anyway.
Oh yeah. But the advantage with Secretary of State is if he has a heart attack or whatever, you just replace him.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, and I mean, with Trump out there running on the stump for JD Vance, and him saying, "Oh yeah, he's going to be the best he's going to be the most historic Secretary of State of our lifetimes."
Well, I do think Trump will, assuming his health is okay, I do think he will do a lot of campaigning for JD Vance, not necessarily as some sort of like thank you to JD Vance,
no,
because
he
loves being out on stage and doing all that shit. And
he loves it. Yeah. He fucking loves it. Yeah, so I do exactly
think, right. And I imagine JD Vance is operating under the same thought process, so that's why he wants to be really like in Trump's good graces the entire presidency, so that he can have that benefit. Well, assuming the Republican Party's still happy about Trump by the end of his presidency, that he can have that benefit of having Trump, campaigning for him across the country.
Trump's kids wanted him to pick JD Vance because they wanted someone that would be a successor to the MAGA movement. So if Trump's kids see JD Vance as a successor to the MAGA movement, like he's in. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
I would be willing to bet Trump is going to endorse. I mean, Trump is going to play the patriarchal figure, and he's going to say, "Oh, all my children," and get a shot, right? But ultimately, I think he will endorse Vance.
You think one of his kids is going to try to run in 2020?
No, I think Marco, all of the Republicans,
his metaphorical children.
Yeah, his metaphorical children. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Patriarch in the sense of his kingdom, the MAGA kingdom that he has created.
Right,
he's going to preside over fairly and magnanimously.
Right.
Yeah, which he's doing in this clip, obviously. So.
Well, that's why I'm saying this clip to me is a stronger evidence that he's not actually going to run.
Right. Well, I have a bunch of clips of people who are saying he is going to run.
Right.
Fucking.
Well, let's keep listening here.
Am I not ruling it out? You'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people, which they don't. They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have AOC's low IQ.
You should look at Marco. He's just choking back a fucking laugh. Like he just wanted to laugh so bad about the Jasmine Crockett line.
She's
like
not running. What? She's not running for president.
He's like, you can't call a black woman low IQ. What are you doing? Even Marco's like, none of the rules of politics apply to this guy.
No,
he's so jealous.
IQ. You give her an IQ test, have her pass like the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed. Those are very hard, they're really aptitude tests, I guess, in a certain way, but they're cognitive tests. Let AOC go against Trump.
Is that? I didn't catch that the first time I heard this clip. That's a really weird thing that he said, where he's like, Jasmine Crockett. Well, I think we've covered some of her getting in the fights in congressional floor before.
Oh yeah,
which is funny. But I'm not, a huge fan
I
of
can't
her.
stand Jasmine Crockett. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if I've heard enough of her to make a determination where I think she's stupid versus someone I just disagree with ideologically. But it's weird to say, calling her stupid is not weird, but then to say, well, she's stupid, she should take what do you say, the difficult test I took at Walter Reed?
The aptitude test.
That was a very hard
well, hold on.
an IQ test. Have her pass like the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed. That was a very hard, they're really aptitude tests.
Isn't Walter Reed those aren't IQ tests? Aren't those the tests to like make sure that you're mentally competent at like an old age?
I'm not sure what tests he took, so sometimes they do the pattern recognition tests. I've taken 6 IQ tests, so
no, but
I'm sure you've taken plenty of IQ tests.
I've only taken 1 IQ test, actually, but I'm just saying that I'm confused because Walter Reed is a hospital. That's a hospital. That's not like when I first heard this, I thought he was referring to some college or whatever school he went to, but he's not. He's referring to the hospital that he went to where they give you the cognitive test to make sure you don't have dementia. So for him,
they gave him the clock test where they
gave him
the numbers.
Clock test. That's why I'm saying I completely missed this when I first heard it. So for him to say,
that's hilarious.
It's interesting because I think he realized what he said was bad because look, you notice there's like this pause because he just said like, oh, it was very hard. And then there was like a pause of like, well, wait a minute, you shouldn't say the dementia test is hard. It's like then that makes it look like you have fucking dementia.
You're exactly right. That's hilarious.
Have her pass like the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed. That was a very hard.
See, there's like a pause.
They're really aptitude tests.
And then he switched. Oh, they're aptitude tests. There's like that pause because I think he realized what he said was like horrible. Jesus. Okay. That's not great. It's not great when you're saying someone has low IQ and then you immediately make yourself look stupid by saying something fairly stupid. So,
look, he saved himself though. He pulled it back.
He tried.
What is Marco doing? Is he shaking his head?
I guess in a certain way, but they're cognitive tests. Let AOC go against Trump. Let Jasmine go against Trump. I don't think Jasmine. The first couple of questions are easy: a tiger, an elephant, a giraffe. When you get up to about 5 or 6, and then when you get up to 10
the giraffe,
25, they couldn't come close to answering any of those questions.
Okay, so maybe he didn't realize it was stupid. He's like tripling down on it. He's like, oh, let me tell you about the dementia test questions. At first, it's very easy. What's the difference between a tiger and giraffe? But you keep doing it. It's very hard. Now I want to find is there like an example of this? What are these questions he's talking about? What are these very hard cognitive test questions he's talking about? Right? This is what I want to know. He just said the top questions are hard. What are these questions?
The readout for Walter Reed mentioned advanced medical imaging. Did you get an MRI? Can you tell us what that was?
I did. I got an MRI. It was perfect. Yeah. I gave you the full results. We had an MRI, and in the machine, the whole thing. Yeah. And it was perfect. Yeah.
Did you say what in particular?
This was breaking news. The press didn't know that he had some MRI, so they were like, "You're telling on yourself. Why'd you have an MRI?
Right?
Would you hit your head?"
You could ask the doctors. In fact, we have doctors traveling with us, but I think they gave.
Look at Marco's eyes jetting around here as he's talking about the MRI.
Whole thing, and it was perfect. Yeah.
Did you say what in particular?
You could ask the doctors. In fact, we have doctors traveling with us, but I think they gave you a very conclusive. Nobody has ever given you reports like I gave you, and if I didn't think it was going to be good, either I would let you know negatively, I wouldn't run, I'd do something, but the doctor said some of the best reports for the age, some of the best reports they've ever seen.
Marco seems super concerned in the background there, like, oh shit. We said we weren't going to talk about this. What's going on here? Trump going off script again. He's like, he doesn't want to get caught in the same situation the Democrats got caught in with Biden. Can you imagine? Like 2 in a row? Trump leaves office. Yeah. Trump leaves office, and then all of a sudden the Republicans are guilty of doing the same thing that they're lambasting the Democrats for doing right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Marco's like, please let him make 4 years. Please. Please. His whole future depends on it.
That's
Look,
true.
everything we talked about with JD Vance and the Republicans keeping the presidency in 2028 would just be in the toilet if Trump left office early because he got dementia.
Mm-hmm.
That would, maybe JD Vance could come in and take over, but that's just a weird thing.
Well, it would be the problem wouldn't be Vance taking over. The problem would be if it was the exact same scenario of like hiding it the way that they hit it with Biden. Now it's hard to imagine currently Trump seems to be leaps and bounds better than Biden. So we'd have to be talking about something, a couple of years down the road.
Yeah. But look, I think it would be catastrophic if JD Vance took over midway through Trump's presidency. Obviously JD Vance would probably run again, but that scenario, him running after taking over half of Trump's presidency would just be, it would be a completely different dynamic.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But when you say him taking over, do you mean him like legally becoming president?
Trump
stepping down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trump stepping down.
Right.
Trump leaving office.
Not a shadow
JD Vance.
president.
Yeah, of course not.
Okay.
Maybe they would try to pull that off. I'm not sure.
Well, I think if
it would it'd be too obvious with Trump. What are you talking about? He's in front of the press every day.
Yeah,
all of a sudden it'd be like,
true.
where the fuck did he go? They couldn't do it.
Right. Well, he was gone for a week and everyone was like, is he dead? Is he dying?
Yeah, exactly. I don't see how he could pull that off.
Well, I think
remotely pull that off.
I think if he willingly stepped down or for some health reason, I think it would be a lot. I don't think it'd be so like such a blow against his status if he said like, okay, I'm out. If they tried to hide it, I think that's where the danger lies.
Here, I'll press a button for you.
One theory on how you might try to serve a third term is that you could run as the vice president.
Yeah, I'd be allowed to do that.
Is it the White House?
How you can run as a vice president? How's that even possible?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
For the White House counsel to your legal position, I guess.
You'd be allowed to do that, but I wouldn't do it. And I think it's too cute. Yeah, I would rule that out because it's too cute. I think the people wouldn't like that. It's too cute. It's not.
Okay, so maybe you wouldn't do any of the Secretary of State stuff. It's too cute.
It wouldn't be right.
Look, it'd be too cute. It wouldn't be right.
Well, I would think even if, and I don't know, I'd have to, go pull up the Constitution, read what the amendments say about it. But I would imagine even if you theoretically or legally, you could run as vice president, even though you've been president twice, and then the president steps down or dies or whatever, that it would still skip over the vice president. The vice president wouldn't become president because they cannot become president. They're not eligible to become president.
Doesn't the amendment say though that they can't run? They can't run for a third term.
Let me see here.
If they become president, they didn't run. They ran for vice president.
Well, it says elected. So is that what? So you say like, well, he wasn't elected.
Oh yeah, he wasn't elected. Yeah, exactly.
President? Yeah,
he may be correct. This is a Reuters video on the constitutionality of this stuff. So,
and also I did find, I don't know if it's the one Trump took, though it does have the horse and the tiger in it. We found a sample test of one of these.
Oh, nice
things. That says Montreal, so I think that means it's Canada. I would like to find an American one.
Does it look hard? I mean, I know what a tiger is.
It does. It does not look hard.
What do? You just say, "Oh, that's a tiger."
Well, you can bring it up and we'll go through it. We'll see if we can.
Oh, okay.
We'll see if we can do it. Okay.
Scott Anderson is from the Brookings Institution.
So the conventional wisdom, and I think it's the right one, is that he cannot. The 22nd Amendment, adopted in 1951, says no one may be elected to the presidency more than 2 times.
The amendment.
No one can be elected. Look, he's not elected. He was elected as the vice president.
Was ratified in 1951 after President Franklin D. Roosevelt broke with a self-imposed 2-term limit set by presidents since George Washington. Walter Olson is
Really? Holy shit. I didn't know that.
No way.
Did you know that? That it was no, that it was the cultural norm to do only 2 terms?
You didn't know that?
I didn't know, no.
Oh, no.
What a fucking
George Washington is a Chad.
No. I knew about George Washington.
Oh.
I didn't know that FDR broke the tradition.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's why they passed the amendment, was in response to FDR. Yeah.
Right.
He's the only one that did it.
FDR.
Yeah.
FDR, what an authoritarian dictator.
I know.
Can't believe it. Trying to grab all that power for himself.
I know.
Going against the cultural norm. I mean, destroying the country, basically.
Yeah. Saving the country, creating a middle class.
Oh, yeah.
Defeating the Nazis.
The Cato Institute.
It's hard to find a provision in the U.S. Constitution that is any more clear, that is any more unambiguous than the 22nd Amendment. There are other provisions where you can argue for weeks about what they mean. It's very hard to argue about what the 22nd Amendment means. It's right there.
Trump's allies could theoretically change the Constitution, but that would require 2/3 support in the House.
What are you laughing about?
Well, the idea that in 3 years...
They can't even get past a government shutdown.
I
know.
What the fuck? There's going to be some
They're going to amend the
Constitution. Passed. Like, get out of here.
In Senate, or a convention called by 2/3 of U.S. states, and then ratification by 38 of the 50 state legislatures. That is all unlikely in an era of intense political polarization between the Democrats and Trump's Republican Party. Currently, Republicans hold a razor-thin 219 to 213 majority in the House and a 53 to 47 majority in the Senate, and have control of only 28 state legislatures. Trump supporters say one way to circumvent the 2-term limit would be for him to run as vice president. The new president could then step down after victory, allowing Trump to take over. But scholars say Trump is barred from running for that position as well, due to the 12th Amendment, which says no person constitutionally ineligible for the office of the president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States.
They found the workaround. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, we better put this in. We wrote that amendment poorly. Now we need a new amendment.
Trump himself dismissed the idea.
No, you'd be allowed to do that, but I wouldn't want. I wouldn't do it.
He said you'd be allowed to do it. That's not right.
And I think it's too cute. Yeah, I would rule that out because it's too cute. I think the people wouldn't like that. It's too cute. It's not. It wouldn't be right.
Walter Olson again.
One of the things we should have learned by now about both terms of the Trump presidency is that with Trump joking and not joking are a very illusory and transitory kind of thing. One day the joke turns into reality, another day the reality turns into, I was just joking. And you don't know until it happens often, which, if either, was his intention.
It's just a comedy show.
That's a comedy presidency.
Trump could challenge the 22nd Amendment in the courts, though experts told Reuters that any such bid was unlikely to be successful. But Olson says legal worries might not be any deterrent.
So Trump, looking at all of this and being advised by lawyers, might think, okay, so what if it violates the letter of the Constitution? Who's going to stop me?
Ooh, look at that. Reuters is getting really scared.
Well, I think you get into the, I would be pretty surprised, like if like say like they tried to do this vice presidential scheme thing. I don't think they will, but hypothetically, I would be very surprised if the Supreme Court would sign off on that and not say that from some sort of clear, interpretation of the 22nd Amendment that the purpose of it was to have someone not be president for more than 2 terms.
Yeah, no.
I'd be very surprised if they're like, oh no, it says elect, so we did it. Like, I don't think they would do that.
The purpose of it was for the vice president to actually pick who the president is.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Really?
This is, like, retarded.
That's a little funky, don't you think?
Yes.
I thought we were a democracy. No, we're a republic.
Do you want to bring up this test first before we look at this?
No, come on. I don't care about the test.
I care about you don't want to hear. You don't want to see what Trump said. This test was.
I'm
hard.
sure that it's pretty silly. I'm sure that
you got to bring it up. What is this?
I'm sure Trump is talking massive shit here.
I
mean, that's obvious.
I don't know. I was only like a little bit worried about Trump's cognition. Now I'm a little bit more worried about Trump's cognition. If you say,
"Oh my God,
hard," I don't know.
Are you sure you can? Are you sure you can take this test without getting triggered?
I think I can.
What's that on the second line there? Actually, it might be the third line. Hold on. What's that? What's that on the second? What's going on the second line there? This test seems aimed right at you.
They're like, you have to name this. And I put the enemy.
Okay, now look now I have.
They're gonna be like, oh, Sitch is like retarded. Obviously, his brain's mush. He wrote the enemy under duck.
This test is what belongs in like a horror movie. This is a test they give you when you're freaking out when you're seeing horse-sized ducks everywhere.
Right. Okay, so wait, let's look at. So the first question, it's you have to draw a line from 1A to 2B to 3C and just kind of continue the pattern. Okay, that's the first question. Second pattern, you just have
not very difficult, right?
Not very difficult. No. Second question, you just have to copy that picture of a bed. Third question, you just have to draw a clock that's 10:05. Now, I do know some people.
The clock, it is on
the clock. It's the clock, yeah. Now, if you don't know this, we brought this up on stream a long time ago. That I don't know why people with dementia cannot draw clocks for some reason. It just like the numbers are all fucked up. But I do know some people, I think, who don't read analog clocks very well, who would struggle, that do not have dementia, who would struggle drawing this picture. And actually, I do wonder. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, kids
I wonder
today.
Yeah, like 50 years from now. I
have 4 analog clocks in my house.
Right. Well, I mean, I had analog clocks. People wear watches. I remember in like kindergarten, they're like teaching you how to like do like read a clock. I wonder if in like 50 years from now, they're going to have to remove that question from tests because everyone's so used to seeing digital clocks now. Like, they won't even know how to read an analog
come
clock.
on. They teach them, right?
I don't know. I would be curious. You know, those like man on the street interviews where everyone's like retarded, where they edit all smart people. I wonder if they just one where like a guy's holding up like a clock. How many people would not be able to read a clock?
I'm thinking even Jasmine Crockett could score relatively well on this.
You think she could draw a clock of 10:05? Okay.
Right.
So then
although she would complain about the horse, thinking that that's a white coded thing that poor people don't know what horses are. Obviously,
yeah, of course, yeah. So then the fourth
all
question,
this is white coded. Look, white person's been on the jungle safari and seen the tiger.
Right. So then the fourth question, you gotta name a horse, a tiger, and a duck.
Right.
Okay. Fifth question was to say, read list of words, subject must repeat them. Do 2 trials, even if first trial is successful, do a recall after 5 minutes.
Leg, cotton, school, tomato, white. Oh, why is white on there? Jasmine Crockett is going to shit her pants.
So what, they just read you though? They just say, remember these words, leg, cotton, school, tomato, white, and then you just read them back.
You got to do 5 minutes though.
Right. Okay. In 5 minutes, you got to remember leg, cotton, school, tomato, white.
Attention.
Read list of digits, 1 digit a second. Subject has to repeat them in a forward order. And the digits are 2, 4, 8, 1, 5. And then so they tell you that, and then you have to repeat 2, 4, 8, 1, 5. Doesn't say.
Oh my God.
Doesn't say there's a time like a break though. And then the next one says subject has to repeat them in backwards order, and they give you 4, 2, 7. So then you have to say 7, 2, 4 back.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because if they actually gave you the 5 digits and you had to read them backwards, I think most people would be like, you struggle on that one. But 3 digits, everyone could do that.
Do you get to look at the test? Because obviously
no,
7, 2, 4, you're like,
it's all audible. No, they're just reading it to you.
Audible. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to do this whole line of things. There's no way Trump did this. It's like a line of
What's the next one? Read the list of letters. Subject must tap with his hand on each letter A.
So every time someone says,
maybe it is visual because so they give you those letters and you have to physically tap the A's with your hand. Is that what they're telling you to do?
Or maybe when they read an A, you have to tap your hand.
Oh, maybe.
FBA.
Okay, you're probably right.
NNAA.
I got you.
Yeah.
So they say tap the desk every time we say A. Okay.
This is not hard.
This is not. It's not the hard question.
This is not the cognitive test that Trump is claiming.
Right. Oh, here we go. Here's the hard question. Serial 7 subtraction starting at 60. So you have to say like, okay, 60 minus 7 is 53. 53 minus 7 is 46. And you just have to keep going backwards.
Okay.
I think that would trip up some people. Not just being able to subtract 7 every time. Let's see. The next question is repeat. The child walked his dog in the park after midnight. You just have to just repeat that. The artist finished his painting at the right moment for the exhibition. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one.
Super difficult.
Very difficult. Yeah. Next one. Name maximum number of words in 1 minute that begin with the letter B. And you have to get over 11 words to hit the average. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Your bananas, your breakfast questions, your basketballs, all that stuff. Then 1 minute. I assume people could very easily hit 11 words in 1 minute.
I'm dying to know the B words that Trump
bitch.
did, though. Yeah. Bitch, boob, butthole.
Bossy.
Bossy bitch.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. What if they're like, see, if that'd be hard if they're like, you need to construct an 11-sentence word, all with the letter B, like alliteration.
I'm dying to know. Someone knows those words.
I know.
Someone knows the B words.
Yes. The next question says similarity between banana and orange. So they're going to say banana, orange, and then you have to say, well, they're both fruit. So then the questions are hammer and screwdriver. So you say tool, and then matches and lamp, which both would be light. Okay. Then we have delayed recall. Has to recall words with no cue. Oh, and this is where they have to recall the leg cotton school tomato white question after all this stuff. And then they just have to know the date where they are. Oh my God.
So difficult.
What date and what city?
So difficult. Look, I probably fail that date question most days, though, to be honest with you.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's a fair point.
When you make your own schedule, you're like, oh, what fucking day? Do I have an appointment today? No, I'm just working. So
yeah. If you work a normal job, you know what day it is every day. But
all right, that was fun. No more dilly-dallying.
Well, the only one of those that I think an average person might struggle with is the math question.
Right.
Just because people don't like math.
But Trump is very good at math.
If this is the test that Trump said that there's some hard questions at the end, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Let's just bet the math question. That's a little troubling, but okay.
We got a super chat. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick.
You run to the bathroom. Okay. And I'll read the super chat. If I can find the tab. J-Mac, our surrogate father, thanks so much, Daddy J-Mac, for the $20. Says maybe this isn't Trump saying he's smart, but him saying how stupid Crockett is. Anyways, obviously a fake test. A duck is a bird, and birds aren't real. Yes. So. Okay. The Wooster for $5 says if Trump doesn't run for a third term in 2028, I will disavow, retract my support, and never vote for him again. It's the whole reason I vote for him in 2024. They're like a true MAGA fan. Good for you. Big Daddy Squeezy for $5 says expecting people of Shadow Beyond Time is cyborg supremacy. Everyone chill. I know, that's true. That's a good point. Dialogue Always for $10. Hey, Dialogue Always. Says the good thing about Trump being president is that the gaslighting finally stops. Good people on both sides is no longer a hoax when paired next to I don't care about right-wing violence. Oh, that's interesting.
Did you have some fun with the chat?
How do you feel about that? I don't know if you heard that.
I didn't hear it. What was it?
Dialogue Always says the good thing about Trump being president is that the gaslighting finally stops. The good people on both sides is no longer a hoax when it's paired next to I don't care about right-wing violence.
Dialogue Always is going to come on next week, I think.
Oh, okay. So we can have a conversation about it then. You don't want to.
Well, I mean, is he trying to say Trump supports neo-Nazis? That Trump is in favor of neo-Nazis?
Well, he's
I mean,
saying
that's a pretty big
he's
claim.
saying the hoax wasn't a hoax.
Yeah, so that means he supports neo-Nazis. He thinks neo-Nazis are fine people.
Yes.
Okay. I disagree, but
okay.
I think Dialogue Always and Ace want to come on, or Dialogue always wants to talk to Ace. Ace is at this point a maybe. So Ace, I know you were in the chat earlier.
Oh, Dialogue Always wants to talk to Ace.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, are the because
I don't know what they want to talk about.
Both were going to try to argue with you. I didn't know that they want to talk to each other.
Oh, maybe
about something.
No. Dialogue Always wanted to talk to Ace specifically.
Right.
So
right.
Send
Dev the link.
I'm gonna be a good boy.
See Dev in the chat.
What? Thuggish said, "Why is Short Fat Otaku talking shit about Adam?" Probably because I tweeted. I don't know if you saw the tweet. I said people who use the term rightoid are obviously groomers, but it wasn't aimed at Dev.
Yeah,
although I think I have. Yeah, I think I have heard him use that term before. It was aimed at some other guy who's Twitter always shows me his tweets, and he constantly uses the term rightoid. Now, leftists call themselves leftists. They're very proud to announce that they are leftists to the world. I don't know any right-wing people who call themselves rightoids. I'm a rightoid. So it is a derogatory slur, and it's just saying, if you're going to create a slur about right-wing people, I think it's fair for them to create a slur about you, calling you a groomer.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, is rightoid a slur?
Yeah, it's mongoloid. It's
okay.
right.
I see.
Plus mongoloid. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know. Is mongoloid a slur? I mean, obviously there are some intelligent mongoloids.
I haven't heard anyone use the term mongoloid. I think in 20 years. I don't even do people even know about that word? I didn't. I'm curious if people.
Why did people pick oid if it's not mongoloid? But what other oid words could they be?
I have heard it in meme sense, just used as a group of people. Now it's always used negatively, right? So I'm sure it does come from the mongoloid frame or phrase, but
yeah. Look, I don't care, and I'm kind of coming to terms with the fact that people just don't really give a fuck about stereotypes, and they never will. They're not going to do it. The only time people care about stereotypes is when it's a stereotype about them.
Sure.
And what drives me crazy is that's just completely unfair. So.
I agree. I'm just saying, if you say someone is a rightoid, I don't know what kind of stereotype that creates in someone's mind versus saying someone's a groomer is very clear what that creates.
Rightoid is like a stupid right-wing person.
Okay. So just basically calling someone stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a slur. How can you not say it's not a slur?
I don't know.
It's totally a slur.
It seems like it's I guess it's like it's like 10 magnitudes less than calling someone a groomer.
Do you guys like to be called rightoids? Is that something? Do you guys call yourself groomoids?
The groomoids. There you go. I like it.
Anyway, it's obviously and it's taken hold in a lot of people on the left. It's just like their slur for right-leaning people. So look, I don't call people leftards, or what's another one for left-wing people that's like
it was libtards.
Libtards, yeah.
I don't know about leftards, yeah.
I don't use libtard. I don't use any of that. Obviously, because I am a liberal. So why would I? Why would I call other people libtards? Adam, that's insane. What's insane? Groomoids? I mean, I kind of like it. It's growing on me.
Those groomoids are coming for you. All right, better be careful.
Yes. Sitch, I changed my background up. What do you think? I have a couple paintings back here.
Oh, let me see here.
I have
that looks cool.
I have a combination of the Mona Lisa and the Starry Night. I've done a bunch of these paintings. I was selling them at a gallery in Rhode Island for a long time.
You made that Mona Lisa painting?
I did, yeah.
Nice. I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
I've painted a bunch of Mona Lisas in the style of Starry Night.
That's cool. That's a cool idea.
Oh yeah, you take the two most famous paintings of all time and you put them together.
Right.
But I guess there was the internet back then when I was selling those, but it wasn't.
People now are going to be like AI.
Taken over.
You're like, no, it's real.
You can't do that with AI. The paint is at least a quarter of an inch thick. Maybe,
right. And if you see it in person,
thicker.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just saying people see a picture of it.
It's very much in the style of a Starry Night. You got to really, Van Gogh really got that paint on there. Thick. He knew how to lay it on thick.
He did.
Just like Trump.
I remember we went to some Van Gogh exhibit that was very cool. But I'm gonna be real. He's got like a couple paintings. I'm like, these are great. Obviously, Starry Night's one of them. A lot of his paintings, I'm just like
trash.
I'm just like, how many times is this motherfucker gonna paint a sunflower? All right. Like, I don't care about your fucking sunflowers, Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Give me some stars. All right. I like the stars. I like the one with the boats on the bay. I like the one at the cafe with the little stars in the sky. I don't care about the sunflowers. All right. Fuck your sunflowers.
I completely agree.
Okay.
I do. I'm not a big Van Gogh fan. I mean, I really only did it as a money-making endeavor. I was a hustler. Come on. I was hustling. Making tourists part with their money. That's what art is all about.
Right. Grassroots Hegemon, thanks so much for the $20. Says you guys are the centroid of the mechanism. Watch Treasure Planet again. It builds character. I've never seen Treasure Planet ever. I've seen the Atlantis one, Journey to Atlantis. I've never seen Treasure Planet, which every time I say that, I think Sam looks at me horrified. She's like, how dare you?
I did watch 2 episodes of The Amazing Digital Circus, and I am kind of hooked. So
okay, you like?
We will kind of talk about that in the future.
Look at this. All right.
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends upon how it ends. I mean,
it's not over yet. So
yeah. Oh, it's still running now.
Yeah. There's only going to be like 3 more episodes, I think, but they come out slowly.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of work obviously went into it. So. You can do all that with AI now in a weekend, so maybe they'll change it up. Sketch says, Digital Circus. Ew, I guess you didn't like Digital Circus. So.
Oh, I like Digital Circus. Yeah.
We are talking on Thursday about Chainsaw Man.
Right.
The Reza arc.
Yeah. Well, just the show, I guess, as a whole.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We can do that.
Sure.
So let's get back to this.
I
didn't watch this video, so.
Oh, okay.
But I fast forwarded past the clips because we've watched the clips a dozen times here. I just want to see the TYT.
You're curious on what the commentary was.
Trump's terrifying plan for a 3rd term.
Right.
And it's a TYT video. So this guy, I don't know his name. He's on the Young Turks. And he's a full-blown commie. This guy is crazy. Yeah. This guy basically wants every single Jewish person to just leave the Middle East. Get out. Go home. Fucking go home. Give it back to the Palestinian people. Anyway, let's see what they have to say.
This morning, Donald Trump refused to rule out a 3rd term as president, despite it being blatantly unconstitutional. Now, before we get into more of the details, Jank, what do you make of this? They are continuing to hint at it, and it seems like all signs are pointing to they're going to try it. What do you think?
This is why we have no King's protests. So the right wing's always like, oh, I can't believe you guys are calling him authoritarian. Dude, what's running for a 3rd term about? There is no such thing. It's in the Constitution. It's super clear. We're going to give you more details here because they have one particular avenue that they thought was kind of cute, but Trump has apparently ruled that one out. But I wouldn't count on him ruling anything out. Does he want to stay in power, Jordan, despite what the U.S. Constitution says?
Obviously, yes, 100% he does. The question is he going to call up the military and say, listen, you guys, we need to keep me in power? And I just think that's laughable. So,
despite America being a...
He was very careful to say, I'd like to. I sure would like to. I would like to. You know, I'd like to live forever. I'd like to be 200 foot tall and shoot lasers from my eyes.
Well, I'm trying to think of an example, and maybe someone in the chat knows. What's an example of something that, I guess it'd be during his first term, Trump said he was going to do, and then people who were supporters said, well, he's joking, and then he didn't actually do whatever the thing was. Like, is there another example of this that we can point to? To say, like, look, he's done something like this before.
I don't know. I mean, I do think obviously he wants to stay in power. He would.
Mm-hmm.
Democracy, etc. Of course he wants to stay in power. The most important part of this, Jordan, is
he wants to pull an FDR and shit all over tradition.
The MAGA reaction. Why? Because he's testing the waters here. Are his voters going to back him up and encourage him to do it again, or are they going to say no? This is how he does.
Do you need to test the waters? I mean, I have no doubt MAGA wants him to run for a third term, whether or not it's legal. I don't think he needs to test the waters there.
It's interesting that this is coming from Cenk, and I think he had a tweet about this that I saw, because he had some X post. Oh yeah, here it is. He says, Trump says he hasn't ruled out a third term. Good news, the Constitution only ruled it out for him. And people wonder why we have no King's protest. It's really that hard to figure out, which I thought was a little ironic coming from Cenk, because he was also running for president, which was unconstitutional.
Oh, you're right. He was. Holy shit.
And I asked him that question when he was on. I was like, what kind of argument are you going to make to be president? It's very clearly you have to be born in America. So
yeah,
it's kind of interesting coming from him. Oh, people are saying the Clinton thing. That would be a good example. Well, actually, I don't know if would that be, because he didn't say he was joking. His supporters weren't saying he was joking about that. They want him to do it, and then he just didn't do it. I guess it'd be an example of him saying he was going to do something.
What was the example?
The putting Hillary in jail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Though we might see that change this term, maybe. Maybe that will come all the way back around. Brian for $20 says, I disagree that groomer is a slur. CEOs often groom their replacements, and it's not a pejorative. It's not our fault that we see it's not our fault that we see who the left is targeting. They're a bunch of groomoids, LOL. Well, obviously, when you say groomer in a political context, everyone thinks you mean sexual groomer. They don't think you mean like workplace replacement for boss or something. But J-Mac and Circuit Fire Dag J-Mac for $20 says, you've watched Digital Circus, but you haven't watched Space King yet. I know, right? What a bad person I am. What a terrible
I have
person.
it now. Space King, 13 million views. Look at this. We're in the wrong business. It's jeez.
Got to make a very famous animated. Well, did you see how many views Digital Circus had?
It was like 134 million. Yeah, I did. I was like oh my
crazy.
God, this is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But it does have a hooky story. And I did notice that the second episode only has 160 million. So it wasn't enough to hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't enough to hook half of the audience. Half of the audience was like, moving on. There's enough to hook me. I was interested, definitely.
So Digital Circus is also on Netflix now. So I don't know when it joined Netflix, so that could have also split viewership too.
All right, I have Space King 1 up so I can officially watch it. Maybe we'll cover it. Look, I do think it's interesting. I saw a lot of videos on it, so we should cover it. We definitely should cover it.
Mm-hmm. Sammy G.
It's not good for the channel to cover stuff that no one is talking about, because
of course.
It's not going to grow the channel. So she was in the chat. Look
she
at
says,
this.
if Trump does put Hillary in prison, I would vote for his third term.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have that position. And Sammy G for 43 months of order enlightenment says, the real reason Sitch doesn't want to see a Trump 2028 presidency is because he would have to listen to me cheering and laughing at Trump memes for 4 more years He's already tired from all the Trump Japan cheering I did. LOL. That's 100% true. That's all completely true.
Did Sammy G show you the meme, the No Kings protest meme that everyone's losing their minds over?
The AI
yeah.
one? Yes, she did.
Where he dumped a load of shit all over the protesters.
She showed me a picture. There's like a still picture of the poop first. And I was like, that's AI. And she's like, no, it's not. I'm like, wait, what? You think poop really fell on someone from the sky? But then she saw the video. She's like, oh, yeah, okay, this is AI.
It was Harry Sisson, right? I think that's the guy
but
they were
the
going
screenshot
after.
we saw, it wasn't clear who the person was that was covered in poop.
Harry Sisson was really triggered.
I don't know, it's just so lame. This is the cringe of our current environment. The White House is putting out fucking memes. Really?
I think it's fun. I do think it's fun. I think that is Trump's addition to the political sphere, is to just make politics fun. This is how he managed to bring a bunch of people in who never voted before. They were like, oh, politics. I always thought politics was stuffy. I didn't realize politics could be fun. So yeah, I'll vote for him. Of course.
Sam told me that
politics to be entertaining.
Sam told me that Trump is our first female president, because obviously someone this catty has to be a teenage girl.
Wow. Okay. That's cool.
So there you go, everyone. We finally got our first female president. It's Trump, second term.
Hillary's probably majorly chapped about that. I'll press the button.
Press the button.
They use the excuse of trolling. We'll explain all of it now.
Yeah. Now, his statements came a few days after Steve Bannon claimed yet again that there is a plan to keep Trump in office for another term. He said Trump is going to be president in 2028, and people ought to just get accommodated with that. Now, the Constitution is incredibly clear on this issue. The 22nd Amendment reads, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once.
We know this. Have you ever heard the idea that when divorce attorneys go at one another, they are kind of colluding, because obviously the longer the divorce goes on, the better it is for them. They're both making money, right?
They're trying to drag
more money.
it out.
Yeah. So you've got two independent parties that are kind of in this prisoner's dilemma. They can't communicate with one another off the record. But at the same time, they both know, okay, well, this is going to make me a lot of money if this gets dragged out. So there is this kind of implicit collusion that goes on between the divorce attorneys.
You'd have to be worried about that for any sort of legal engagement, not just
divorce. Of course. Yes. Not just divorce, but divorce is where, the emotions come out. People are like, I'm going to sue. I'm never giving in. Right.
Yeah.
But I often feel like that happens in political situations as well. You've got the Young Turks here hand-wringing over what Steve Bannon is saying. There is kind of this collusion going on between Steve Bannon and the Young Turks. Like, Steve Bannon knows, okay, well, this will get the Young Turks fired up. And the Young Turks gets fired up because they know, us hand-wringing over Steve Bannon, that'll get our audience fired up. Don't you think that's... Because this is all just, for me, it's a controversy.
Well, it's funny because that's a very good point, and I was gonna say that the exact same point, not about Steve Bannon, but just about Trump in general with this whole thing, because him even joking about this or making these comments, like, it makes his base super excited and they laugh about it and they're happy about it. Some of them really want it, and then it makes the left get super charged and angry about it, and they can generate all these headlines and videos about it and really get people pumped for it.
Yeah, riled up.
Yeah, so it's like this very bizarre situation, because usually in politics, you're trying to do things that help you and don't help your opponent. And this is weird because it kind of, I think, helps both sides get pumped up and charged up. I would wager at the end of the day, if you could somehow calculate this, I think it probably helps the left more than it helps Trump.
Yeah,
just because they just point to it as like the example of authoritarianism?
Every single person has I think is already kind of has their belief on this. So I don't know that people are being moved. That's the thing about it. As soon as we switched over towards the motivating the base model over winning over the moderates, that's when you started getting this situation where we're like, okay, we're just going to do as much incendiary stuff as possible because there are no moderates left. There's no moderates left to give. We just have to make our base enthusiastic enough to vote in the next election. So
yeah, but in that motivating the base strategy, this would be a net negative for Trump, because him joking about this would motivate the left base far more than motivating like the right base just to be happy that Trump is trolling people.
Yeah, I don't. Obviously, you'd have to look specifically at the numbers. I just the last data point that I kind of remembered was all of the Democrats that switched over and registered Republican during the Charlie Kirk stuff. So I know Republican numbers are climbing.
Well, those people, I don't think those people are going to be swayed by any of this.
Right.
That's always the thing, is that, and this is part of what we were talking about in the beginning with Trump's brand's reputation. It's like very strange. You can basically say anything, and then until it happens, no one cares or believes it, really, if they're not already anti-Trump. And then whenever it does happen, it's sort of like poo-pooed or hand-waved away for something else that happens quickly afterwards.
I want to get more into the Jank losing his mind.
Well, it sounded like Jank said it was some kind of troll technique. So
himself out of the race in 2028 shouldn't be surprising. In March, NBC's Kristen Welker told Trump in an interview that she'd heard him joke about serving a third term multiple times. And in response, Trump said, "No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking." So it seems perfectly clear.
Wait, we didn't hear that clip. What was that clip? Trump said, "I'm not joking."
We watched the Kristen Welker interview. That was like the first interview he did after he won. I remember Kristen Welker's legs very vividly. I do.
Okay. So how do we interpret that in the model, the joking model, when he says, "I'm not joking"? Did he say, "I'm not joking" while laughing? Because I don't remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or did he say, "I'm not joking"?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, why didn't they grab the clip? I'm sure the clip is available, right? Why did they make it a Chiron and not grab the clip?
I don't know.
Maybe because he says, "Oh, I'm not joking."
Yeah.
Well, that sounded serious. A lot of times I am accused of people not being able to tell if I'm joking or not. People can't tell if I'm serious. So maybe I do have a touch of the tism, because I'm trying to send the signal that I'm joking.
Adam is 100% autistic.
Right. When I say deport them all, I'm obviously joking, right?
It's just that here's the benefit, okay? Because I'm a lot more autistic, it distracts. People don't realize. They're like, "Oh,
yeah.
Well, compared to Sitch,
I'm a 6.
He's not.
But Sitch is a 10.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think I'm autistic at all. So I think it's the other people are autistic and they're not getting my signal. I think the signal's going out loud and clear, but they're like, "I can't tell if you're joking." No, I am joking, motherfucker. I'm fucking joking. How dare you?
Here, Jank, and I think your point is a good one. This is why we have
sucking up to the boss again. Look at this. Telling Jank he's got a good point. Oh, what are you, nuts?
Events and mass mobilizations like the No Kings protest. The right will say, "Well, we don't have a king." But they're saying on the right now, they want one, and they want it to be Trump. What do you think?
Yeah, so that's a little bit more in question. So we'll get into that in a second. But first, I want to go to some of our members here because
oh, fuck that. I don't want to hear what your members have to say.
Wouldn't I want more money and power and fame? Where's the question? They're like, well, the question is democracy, the Constitution, America, Western civilization. To him, those are just inconveniences. I don't think he cares about those as ideas or philosophies. And if you do, you're on the right and you care about those things, you're projecting your beliefs onto him. He's never shown that he cares about those things. And Catch a Butterfly on Twitch says, if Cheeto gets around third term.
What are you talking about, Jake? The whole January 6th protest was to save democracy, okay? There was a stolen election. The fuck? How can he say he doesn't care about democracy, Sitch?
I didn't listen to what you're talking about.
So does Obama. In fact, that's partly what they're worried about. That's why when Steve Bannon has been asked about it, because he keeps bringing it back up, he said, "Oh well, we have an idea for that. They're gonna try to move this whatever ideas they have, which is nonsense. They don't have any ideas. Their idea is, why don't we go for fascism, okay? Or do this stupid cutesy trick, which I mean, like, I can't give Trump any credit on this. He's the one going, oh, maybe I run for a third term. And I'm not joking, right? So, all right, he ruled out the idea that's too cute by half on the running as vice president and having the vice president step down. But that was the only idea I've seen that they've actually put out there, which is not that clever. But when Bannon's asked about it, he's like, well, no, we can design it in a way where only Trump can run, but Obama can't. Tell me that you're afraid of Barack Obama without telling me you're afraid of Barack Obama. Tell me that you're not actually in favor of democracy without telling me you're not actually in favor of democracy. Because
is he advocating for Barack Obama now? I don't know if did you see the clip where the reporter asked him if Trump runs for a third term, then couldn't Obama run for a third term? And Trump is like, "Oh, that would be great, me running against Obama." Fuck no. Yeah, that'd be amazing. God. We should do that. But now Cenk is like, oh yeah, he should.
Well, Cenk doesn't like Obama.
No, not anymore.
So I don't think there's a clip of this. This is from some sort of phone interview. Well, I don't think the audio is this. It's just like the text.
Oh, okay.
And so it's just him saying this. Because I'm trying to, I cannot find this.
Did you see Welker's legs? I know you didn't miss them.
No, because that wasn't
the correct interview.
That was not the correct thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right, let's move on to the view.
It makes sense that that's what you would remember, though.
You
very dingy like.
You can call me dingy.
Yeah. Same. You're both going the exact same thought. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know who told us he was going to be a dictator on day one, and damn if he isn't a dictator. He got back into office, and his former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, just added more fuel to the fire. Take a look.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives.
I mean, this guy is so thirsty for attention. And this is like the easiest way for him to get attention. He just goes out and says, oh, yeah, Bannon? Trump is good. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's true.
Steve Bannon has no influence in the Trump White House right now.
Well, I wonder if he's really pushing this because he wants to regain influence in the Trump White House.
Oh, yeah. He wants to be the Kraken 2028 style.
Right. Yeah. So if he's like, if I can get the energy for this and if I can propose some plan, then that will get me back in good graces with Trump land.
Yeah. Steve Bannon, remember when he was hanging out with Epstein, both talking about how much they hated Trump? How come nobody remembers that?
That is insane. That is so insane that Steve Bannon was going to try to make some movie
about Epstein. He shot stuff. Release the documentary footage, Bannon.
Yeah, that was so if you don't know, Steve Bannon was working with Epstein to make a movie that was very pro
about Epstein. Yeah,
or at least it seemed like it was going to be very pro Epstein. And then obviously that's when he gets arrested again and kills himself or gets murdered or whatever happens. And then afterwards he's like, "What? No, it wasn't pro Epstein. It was anti. I was exposing him." So people were like, "Oh, you were exposing him. Well, why don't you release the the footage you have so we can see that? Why don't you release the movie?" And then he's like, "Oh, sure." And then he never does. He never does. It's like, oh, that's very suspect. What's going on here?
Bannon he wants attention. He's a attention whore.
Yes.
At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28.
I haven't
Oh, this is fucking Bannon.
really thought about it. We have some very good people.
He's like, I haven't really thought about it. Steve Bannon's like, oh yeah, we have a plan. We're all working diligently on the plan. Trump's like, I haven't really thought about it.
People, as you know, but I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. I would love to do it. And I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? You'll have to tell me.
One theory on how you might try to serve a third term is that you could run as the vice president.
Yeah, I'd be allowed to do that. I think the people.
Why didn't the reporter just say, he said, you'll have to tell me. Why didn't they just say, okay, well, I'm telling you, you're not running for a third term. End of story.
Yeah, what does that mean? What does that mean? You have to tell me. Who's who?
Look, they could have ended it right there. I think they should arrest that reporter, obviously.
There you go.
She obviously wants a third Trump term.
People wouldn't like that. It's too cute. It's not, it wouldn't be right.
So
look at the cackling hens at the
There was a boo. They were boo.
Ooh. I know. They're cackling. Come on.
Oh, okay.
just so we're clear, you have not.
How many guys do you think are in that audience right now, that studio audience?
There's
I put
two
it
gay
two.
guys and one husband that was dragged.
Actually, you're probably right. There's probably a few gay guys. So
right.
It's
nothing to say about any of this. Just understand that. Okay. Republicans have.
Look, how does this, if one side is having a grand old time, a great time, and the other side is just dour as can be, do you really think that motivates people to vote? I think the opposite.
Of course wait, what do you, yes. What do you mean? We've always talked about, like, what is the thing that drives so much traffic on the internet and YouTube videos and politics? It's outrage.
It's nihilism.
No, it's outrage.
Well,
nihilism makes people not want to be activated.
Right. I think that when it's easy to just share something, maybe, but voting, I don't know. Voting is a little more complex. Voting's a little higher bar.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but why? There's not really, I don't think there's much of a benefit to this from Trump. At the end of the day, I don't think there's a net benefit to this.
It's interesting.
If it's all a joke.
It's interesting because voting is very much a solitary act, and getting outraged on social media, it's a group thing.
Yeah, but it activates people.
Right.
To feel and think a specific way. And it plays this, I mean, Trump's joking, finger quotes joking about running a third term is the meme of I'm a fool, I'm a retard. Everyone goes, let's get away from this retard. And then he says, LOL, I'm just joking. Like, it is that meme.
Right.
It's not really beneficial.
Pretty much given him free reign up till now. Are they going to let this happen? Are y'all going to let it happen?
See, look at this.
Just asking.
Listen, there's certain people in Trump's orbit who, when they tell you what they're going to do, I really listen. And I would put Steve Bannon at the top of this list. He's somebody who has been one
I don't know about that one, but okay, that's interesting.
of the senior most advisors to Trump since the first time that he ran. He predicted the events around January 6th, the efforts to overturn the election. And I feel crazy because I feel like a conspiracy theorist talking about this. I asked Justice Sotomayor when she was here, and people were like, oh, that's so wild. But here's the thing. This is a person who's been right before saying it. The president himself isn't ruling it out. Now, what I would say is this. There's two ways to do it, but I think he's going to go for the third way, which isn't technically the way you would do it. You would either need a supermajority in Congress to pass a change to the Constitution, or you would need 2/3 of states calling for a constitutional convention to consider making this change. I sort of think that he's going to try to challenge it through the courts on the grounds that it wouldn't be consecutive terms. And so to kind of parse the language within the Constitution to say that he actually could do this. And with the makeups of the courts where a lot of judges are in power because Trump put them there, it's possible that they perhaps could rule in his favor.
This is all bonkers, complete bonkers.
What element?
I mean, the amendment is pretty clear.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that it's non-consecutive.
The idea that would be a legal argument is bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah. It would never make it into the court.
This would be disastrous for the Republican Party for 2028 if Trump wanted to do this, because then it'd be kind of the same thing like with Biden, where there's that, like, are people going to run against him or not? Because if Trump is still like doing this will he won't he shit near the actual election, then the Republicans, they need when you're running for president, you need like 2 years, a year and a half to really galvanize your funding and, get your momentum going and doing all these things. And if there's like this whole well, Trump is still saying he's going to run, maybe that's really going to deflate the ability for a lot of Republicans to do this.
January 1st, 2028, the elections starting, if it's not already started. So, right. I mean, yeah, you need to be campaigning for a year.
Right. So, it would be very bad for the Republican Party if he tried to do this, because then I think obviously the courts would say no. And that would mean that they lost all that time to even do that.
Oh, look, it's all fanciful. I just think there's no way in hell this is going to happen. I don't think it's possible.
Right.
I don't think Trump is going to shit on his legacy, which right now he's kind of on the top of the world. Like, I think most people do think he's at the top of the status hierarchy, being a 2-term non-consecutive president. And doing a bunch of legal shenanigans to stay in office for a 3rd term, I just think would be like, you've won, dude. The downside is too great, and the risk is too high, because it's not going to happen. So,
right.
But I think he could milk it to kind of get people enthusiastic and deliver those people as to another candidate, because he'd say, look, I can't, this is the end of my presidency, but I want you to stick around and vote for JD Vance or whoever wins the nomination.
Yeah, but that had to be before, January 2028. Like, that could happen. But
well, I'm not sure he's gonna endorse somebody before the primary. Like, there's gonna be a primary and shit.
That'd be pretty. I don't know. I feel like that'd be a huge slap in the face to JD Vance if he doesn't endorse him before the primary.
This is why all of this speculation comes to an end as soon as the Republican primary begins. Because guess who's not going to be in the Republican primary?
Trump. Obviously.
Trump. It's Trump.
Theoretically,
obviously.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. So it's stupid. All of this is just bullshit to fearmonger that Trump is a dictator. That's all that's going on here.
Yeah, but you can't say it's bullshit when he's the one creating the bullshit.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, it's like,
what are you talking about?
He's just a fucking retard at that point. It's like, well, then don't do that. Don't do that thing. What do you like?
I just look. It obviously it winds up it entertains his supporters and it winds up his opposition. It drives him crazy. It makes him make mistakes.
But that's why I've been saying this whole time. I don't think this is
a bad strategy at all.
You need to explain what is the mistake. Every time you have someone on the left or on The View or something come out here and they say, look, we're being vindicated by calling Donald Trump an authoritarian because he's flirting with the idea of running a 3rd term. How is that a mistake? What is the mistake there?
If he can get them to go down this path for the next 2 years, okay. So it's in everyone's mind and everyone's on the edge of their seat. And Trump doesn't actually do any of these things as they're laying out. They lose all credibility close to the election. This is the opposition that you're going to be running for in the election.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You. It's the election.
Right. These people seem incompetent in the same way that Kamala Harris seems incompetent when she's saying, "Oh yeah, I think prisoners should get free trans health care when they're in prison." They seem incompetent. Look, Trump can come out and say, they've been saying I'm going to run for a third term for 3 years now. These people are obviously bonkers. They've all lost their fucking minds.
I don't think it's going to work that way.
And we're right on the verge of an election? Oh, yeah, it's great.
I can't imagine it's going to work that way. Because there's so many, like, if we were in a situation where there wasn't a new news story that draws people attention every 2 seconds, that's okay. Yeah, maybe people will remember, in 2028, if Trump says, oh, I'm not actually running. He's finally said, I'm not actually running, and he endorses someone else, right? But then the Democrats and the people that have been pushing this aren't going to say, oh, we were wrong, or, oh my God, we were such fools. They're like, oh, well, he finally said he's not running. Like, it doesn't.
They're going to move on.
Yeah, what do you mean? They're just immediately going to move on to the next, whatever the next issue is that's going on that day, because there's a million things happening. In the
yeah, but if you're Republicans, you can craft an ad of them talking about dictator. And
they said Donald Trump was going to be a dictator because he said that he flirted with the idea that he was going to run again.
They said,
but
Donald
then now
Trump
he's saying he's not going to run again. Democrats were wrong. Like,
they were saying Donald Trump will be a dictator. Donald Trump has solved 18 wars.
There you go. They could say that. Yeah, but wait,
brought fentanyl crisis down to zero. He's saved jobs, lowered housing costs. The stock market is at an all-time high. If
but none
this
of these
is
things
what
that you're
dictatorship is, we should elect J.D. Vance.
Nothing of what you're saying benefits from him joking about running again. You could have that exact same ad, and it would be even more. It'd be even better without him joking about running a third term.
You think this is a terrible strategy? You think Trump shouldn't do?
I don't think
it's
a strategy. I don't think it's a strategy. I think he's just doing it because that's just his personality.
Oh, I think he's doing it to stay in the news cycle. Obviously, people are talking about this. They're not talking about Epstein. It's brilliant.
Why? I think people are just kind of grew tired of the Epstein thing anyway.
Yeah, they're talking about Trump being a dictator.
Do you think? No. Hold the phone. People stopped talking about Epstein long before we have. People were talking about this. Do you think that this is some sort of like 10? I'm very confused because you just said you didn't think it was a 10D chess move, but now you're saying that it is a 10D chess move to get people not talking about Epstein.
I didn't say it was a 10D chess move to the little laugh in the CNBC clip that to send the signal that he wasn't really running.
Overall plan here. I understand.
But obviously, Trump knows that if he keeps the question alive, he knows it's going to create conflict. It's going to continue to dominate the news media. He knows the Democrats are going to be crazy about it. He knows they're going to say he's a dictator. He's running for a third term. He's definitely in there. He knows it's as soon as he comes out and says, no, of course not. I can't run. I'm not going to run. The whole story ends and goes away, and people start looking for another story, and they start going, wasn't Donald Trump friends with Epstein?
No. Yeah, but wait a minute. I think this is an absurd argument. I'm sorry. I think this is an absurd argument.
Well, hold on. What is
first of all,
argument?
People have not.
What is the absurd argument obviously
if
Trump
right
is running Trump is obviously like keeping this story alive. You agree with that, correct?
I don't know if he is because people keep asking him the question. That's what I guess his responses. But
his responses are what's keeping it alive. Of course he's keeping it alive.
Yeah, but
you don't think he's keeping it alive deliberately?
Wait a minute. Stop.
That's what he does for Epstein? No, he keeps the story alive?
Yes.
Come on.
Wait,
what
are you talking about? We talked about this again and again and again on the show because this is what happens. This is why I don't buy this whole Trump is doing this fucking master plan thing and he's keeping the story alive and all this other like crap. What happens is there's some story in the news that everyone's reporting and all the people that want to attack Trump, we're going to ask him the same question again and again and again and again. And that's what happened with Epstein. They kept asking him. He didn't walk up to the news people and start talking about Epstein. They'd ask him a question. They'd say, something with Epstein. And every time he would give a fucking horrible answer, which would reignite the entire news cycle. And we said, both of us agreed, oh my God, why does Trump keep giving these horrible answers? He keeps reigniting the news cycle again and again and again and again. I don't think that he goes into this like a reporter asks him a question. He has some fucking strategy. I think reporter asks him a question and he just wings it. He just does whatever the fuck's on the top of his head. And that's what's going on with the third term thing. He's just going off whatever's top of his head. This isn't some sort of master plan to divert people's attention. If it was a master plan, here's to me would be evidence if there's some sort of master plan. If at the height of the Epstein stuff, they start talking about this and then the news jumped to it, I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe there's something here. But people haven't been talking about Epstein for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden this comes up. So I can't imagine that this is some sort of like pivot away from Epstein when no one's been talking about Epstein for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
You're claiming I'm making a claim that I'm not actually making. You're claiming that I'm saying that Trump is doing some 10D chess move here to keep the story alive so that he can keep it off of Epstein.
Okay.
I'm
saying, you were saying, yeah.
I'm asking you if it's a good strategy.
It is a bad strategy.
Theorizing that it is actually a good strategy.
Okay. It is a bad strategy because, as I said in the beginning of the stream, people on the right go, LOL, funny. So it's beneficial to them. People on the right and the left go, oh my God, authoritarian dictator, we should vote against him. And so it's good for them. And you say, well, which one of those is going to manifest itself, or potentially, right? Because we're talking about the future, which one of those is going to potentially manifest itself in a way that leads to more votes for one side? And it's hard for me to imagine that the LOL triggering the right or triggering the left manifest to more votes on the right versus people on the left being motivated by this person is authoritarian and is flirting with running a third term.
So you don't think triggering the left had anything to do with him winning the presidency in 2024?
No, I think it was the fact that he would look sensible and reasonable compared to the left is what helped him win. Not him flirting with running a third term is the opposite of looking sensible and reasonable. And we have midterms come, like, think about it this way, because you're even talking about here, and here's kind of the other problem. I think here's the bigger problem with what you're suggesting, because you're saying we're not going to know, the public is not going to 100% know for sure is he joking or not until 2028, right?
Well,
until
I disagree
until the
with
cards
that.
on the table, right?
I disagree with that wholeheartedly, but go ahead.
But 2026 is going to happen first. The midterm's going to happen first. And if the Democrats can play a million clips of Trump flirting or joking about running for a fucking third term, that's not going to hurt them. That's going to help them get a larger base to come out for the midterms. And as we know, midterms are generally base elections. It's you trying to galvanize as much base support as you can. That's part of why that they are pushing the whole no kings stuff anyway. They know that.
I think the flirting with running in 2028 is the Democrats' framing. I think the people who think he's flirting with running and believe that already would never vote for Trump. So, and I think people who are looking at this are thinking he's not flirting, and he's very, very careful about what he's saying. He's saying, "Oh, I would like to," but that's not saying I'm running.
I'm not even going to respond, but okay.
Well, look, you obviously, it's like a Rorschach test. You see the rabbit. Like,
this is not, no. Do not throw the rabbit duck at me. Okay. Because as I said, I don't think he's running again. Okay. But it's very clear to me, and it's very clear to you, that he is being intentionally vague. You're even making the argument that he's intentionally being vague. So you can't say, well, I have problems with saying flirting when he's being intentionally vague. That's what it means. That's what flirting means.
He's wording,
am I going to do it? Am I not going to do it?
He's wording things that I think send a clear signal to people who are not totally invested in politics that he's not really a threat. And he's sending a signal to the people who are scared to death, the Democrats, that to them, the narrative that he's flirting with it.
The people that are not interested in politics are not listening to a clip of Donald Trump on Air Force One and interpreting it with this
they're listening to the Democrats. They're listening to The View. They're listening to them, the cackling hens going crazy about this. And they think, oh, these people have lost their minds.
No, stop.
Okay, they don't.
You just said that the people that are not politically motivated are listening to a clip of Donald Trump talking to Air Force One, and they're going to pay attention so fixatedly or so focusedly that they're going to hear him laugh or giggle when he says what he says, and they're going to interpret this. The people that are not politically motivated aren't going to ever fucking hear that clip. They're never going to see that clip. They're going to just see headlines, and they're going to hear their friends talking about it.
We can move on. We just totally disagree. We completely disagree. You think, and I mean, this stuff doesn't bother you, right? Donald Trump flirting with running in 2028. This stuff doesn't.
No, because it doesn't bother me because it's fucking not going to happen. And if it did happen, it would destroy his presidency. I don't care about it.
Right.
But
you do agree that there are a bunch of people. You do agree that there are a bunch of people who are super wound up by this. Obviously, they're listening to The View and they're like, "Oh my God, we're on the verge of Nazi Germany. This is fucking crazy."
What bothers me is that I don't understand how you can't see that as such a clear win for the left, especially when we're coming into midterms, which are base elections, which is all about getting the base to come out and vote for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they have this whole like, look, Donald Trump is going to run again in 2028, that's going to help them in the midterms.
I mean, obviously, I think the entertainment value motivates the base of the right. So I think it's going to be.
I really don't think so, but whatever.
How do you not think that? What are you talking about?
I don't think
you don't think people are jazzed about Trump and they show up to vote for Trump because they fucking love it. It's like the first candidate that they can show up and like vote for enthusiastically. You don't think that motivates people to vote? He got people to vote who never voted in their entire life.
Okay, whatever. I can't speak, but it's fine.
Well, look, we disagree. We fundamentally disagree. You think that just so we can be clear here, you think that this fear is going to motivate more Democrats to show up, and the enthusiasm, the entertainment value of Republicans is they're just going to dismiss
of
and
this
be like,
specific topic. Yes, not of just a general people like Trump. Yes, of this specific topic. Yes, this is a net, as I said in the beginning of the stream. I think this is a net loss in terms of voting potential for Trump.
You admit though that obviously we're just speculating here. These
obviously we're talking about the future. Yes,
yeah.
we cannot know these things. These are unknowable things.
Well, we will know them once the midterms come.
Well, no, because the midterms could come and like a comet could crash into the Earth.
We will know what the turnout is. We will know exactly what the turnout is for the midterms. We will know all of this stuff.
Okay, we will not know all this stuff because the midterms are not going to be solely decided on one fucking issue. If Donald Trump manages to wrestle a historic peace deal between Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Palestine, and the economy does well, then no one's going to give a fuck about this, him saying he ran for a third term stuff whatsoever. And that could all be inconsequential. But that's not how you have to look at things when you're going through politics. You have to look at everything and say, is this helping me or is this hurting me? Is this helping me or is this hurting me? Not, well, is this something that will be forgotten because I'll do something so much greater in the future that it will completely wash us away?
There could be exit polls though, where like they ask Democrats,
well, that's true.
why?
Like, yes, if there's an exit poll and everyone says,
worried about
I'm going to,
Donald Trump being a dictator. Oh my God. I'm worried about the military. I know the narrative of the left. The left is like, oh my God, these cops are going to come. They're beating people up in the streets. They're pulling people out of their homes. They all believe we're living in Nazi Germany right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I say don't.
Look, you got the normie perspective right here on The View. She's like, oh yeah, of course. Of course he's running for a third term.
Don't rule out what he is saying. I also know Donald Trump well enough to believe this is not a guy who's going to be a lame duck after the midterms. He's not going to be like, oh, let all the center of gravity shift to J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio while he fades into the distance. So it's something to keep an eye on. I find it concerning.
Did you see Marco Rubio's face in that video? I mean, he looked like a hostage. He's like, wait, you mean I'm not next?
I know, like blink twice.
But, you know, go ahead.
Can I, to Alyssa's point, I always thought, okay, the 22nd Amendment is so clear. You learn in law school, no president can run twice because it really came into effect in the 40s after LBJ had like 4 terms.
Roosevelt.
And
FDR.
FDR had 4 terms, and then you had like the other one, Truman, who didn't run for re-election but kind of said that he could. And so we put this into the Constitution for a reason. But when you asked Sotomayor that question, she said, well, it hasn't been tested. And that told me everything that I needed to know because I think that she is a very faithful constitutionalist. I think that she also understands that the Constitution can be interpreted as a living and breathing thing, as opposed to just sort of this thing that was written eons ago. And so I think, many people who say there's no way he would do it. Well, those are the same people that said the Supreme Court is never going to get rid of Roe v. Wade. Those are the people that said things like,
okay, I don't really care about listening to The View give their take on this, but
we can move on.
Yes. So I guess the other thing that to talk about was the tariffs thing, the Canada tariffs thing.
No, we got to see the Gavin Newsom.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, Gavin
he's
Newsom
weighing in on this.
Yeah, okay. He's running for president. Yeah, okay. So he's pertinent to the conversation that we're having.
I'm assuming, I haven't seen this clip. I'm assuming, well, also, I guess it says deeply troubled. I would assume it would be within Gavin Newsom's benefit to play this up as a big existential threat.
Of course, yeah. Look, and the divide between you and I is you're saying that this issue helps Democrats. And I believe this issue helps Republicans because it makes Democrats look crazy. So
this is why, okay, I'm sorry. This is why I think you just fundamentally lost perspective with the non-Trump voter, if you think that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't make any sense. What you're saying makes no fucking sense to me.
Are you talking about the Trump haters, the never Trumpers?
No, just anyone who's not on the MAGA train.
You're talking about moderates.
Yes.
I am saying that the moderates look at this and think Democrats are crazy. You're basically saying, no, the moderates look at this and they're losing their minds.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're looking at this go, oh, I don't think that he should say that. And doesn't mean they're losing their mind, but they're not going to be in favor of it.
You think the moderates are upset that Trump is
I didn't say
winding
upset.
up the media like this?
I did not say upset.
Okay,
Listen
so
to what I'm saying.
What's the deal?
I said very clearly, if you ask a moderate or an independent and you say, how do you feel about these statements that Trump is making? They're going to say, I don't like that. He shouldn't say that.
You said it didn't matter. You said you didn't even fucking care. Why do you think they care?
I don't care.
Why do you think they care? Why do you think they're saying, oh, he shouldn't say that? If you don't even care.
Because most people do care about because they
I
think
disagree.
that it's possible.
I think, I disagree. I completely disagree.
Wait a minute. I don't care because A, I don't think it's going to happen. And B, even if it did on a low chance he did try to do it, I think it would completely fucking destroy him. That's why I don't.
Look, I think
I don't think that the average random person is going to think that. They're not going to have that thought process.
I think this is the big mistake that the Democrats are making and are continuing to make. I think they believe that any moderate, the people that we're talking about here, not the people who never vote for Trump and think Trump is a dictator. I think the Democrats believe that moderates are upset about this. And I think they're wrong. I think they're completely wrong. I don't think they give a fuck about this. I don't think it's going to.
I don't know. I've literally said this like 20 times. Okay. If you do, let me explain it a different way, maybe to make it more clear.
Hold on. You just said that the moderates would believe that he shouldn't be saying this stuff and they would be upset that he's saying this stuff.
That's not what you just said.
That's what you said.
No, listen to me. Okay. I'm not saying that if you said to a moderate, what are your most important issues that you think face the country right now? That they're going to put the top of the thing, Trump being authoritarian. I don't think that. And I think that the last election showed that that wasn't the case. And that was a big thing that the Democrats did wrong.
Yes.
For their strategy in 2024.
I agree.
Was to focus on that. Right. So I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is if you ask them independently of how they rank something in priority, do you think Trump should do this or say this? They're going to say no. And that's a very different, that's why I'm saying, I don't think this is going to be like the most important issue, but I don't think it helps them. Right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're weighing motivating the MAGA supporting base versus losing moderates. That's the trade-off. And if it's a push on the moderates, if the moderates are not turned off by it or they're not going to change their vote over it, then it is a win for Trump to continue to do this.
So I'm trying to find a poll on this.
Anyway, let's hear Gavin Newsom weigh in.
Yeah.
You look for the poll.
He's talking Trump's running.
It's super low here. Let me
Super
turn.
quiet.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Again, 2028. I mean, you said Trump was talking about his fourth term.
That's what he was showing me a photo of. I turned around, he was at the Resolute, and he goes, look over there. I'm like, oh, and I literally looked, and I looked at him, I'm like, okay. I said, third term? He goes, no, fourth. And that was FDR's painting up on the wall. I'm like, here we go. I said, we're perfect little sheep, aren't we? He's laughing. Because we are. He knows exactly what we're going to do. There's a French, I don't know what
Look, if Gavin Newsom is in my office, I'm definitely fucking with that dude. I'm fucking with that dude as hard as I possibly can. I mean, I would say off the record, Gavin, I'm totally running. I'm totally running in 2028.
Can't say it in French. A poem that loosely.
Because it's so easy because Gavin Newsom is going to come out and say, oh yeah, he told me he was running in 2028. You could just say, oh, what? And then back away. Oh yeah, I'm not running. I never said I was running. What are you talking about? You dumbass.
He pisses on the grasshoppers to hear them sing. And that's Donald Trump.
So do you take that seriously? Do you think he is going to try to stay in office?
What I've noticed, what we all have experienced, I hope we're absorbing in our souls, because we're talking about the soul of America, is I don't think he takes himself seriously, but he iterates. He throws things out, and he plays with it, and he sees how people react, and it manifests, meaning once a mind is stretched, it never goes back to its original form. And that's my concern. The more we're talking about this, and we need to be, look at what he's doing with masked agents. Look what he's doing federalizing the guard. Look what he's doing to intimidate and voter suppression. Look what he's going to do with the DOJ. Look what he's trying to do to rig the elections. North Carolina, Missouri, down there next Florida, not just in Texas.
I live in California, guys. California sent mail-in ballots to every registered voter in the state for this special election. This special election. So anybody can grab their roommate or their parents or their uncle's ballot and fucking send it in. That is not a secure election. That is definitely not a secure election. I doubt they're going to be checking all of those fucking signatures. This is for the special election for redistricting all across the state so that California can get 5 additional representatives to match the 5 representatives from the redistricting in Texas. So that seem fair to you, Sitch?
No.
Sending ballots out to people who didn't fucking ask for ballots?
No, probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Texas. Look what he's doing in terms of the $230 million that apparently is from his DOJ, all the pardoning, all this great grift, the biggest, most corrupt administration in history, not just the $400 million plane, but the $1 billion of your tax money as we're cutting food stamps to pay for the damn plane so he can take that toy home with his foundation when he's 93 or whatever he's done with his 4th or 5th term. I'm deeply concerned about
4th or 5th term. Oh my God.
About it. And guys like Bannon, they're not screwing around.
Anyway. All right. Did you find what you wanted?
Yeah, I found 2 polls on this. One is the Ipsos poll. They said, do you think, well, the question was, we asked multiple questions, but the question was, do you think that Trump is serious about serving a 3rd term as president, even though the Constitution prohibits it? And then would you support that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they broke it down by party. So among independents, 61% of independents believe that Donald Trump is serious about running for a 3rd term, and only 16% of independents support it. Okay. So the majority of independents in this poll think he's serious, and a tiny minority think he should go through with it.
Right.
Democrats, 88% think he's serious. Only 3% say he should do it. Republicans said only 38% think he's serious, but also 38% said he should do it.
So that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Less Republicans think he's serious.
Right, but the same number think
yeah, of course. Yeah, they definitely want him to.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it was interesting because then I found another poll that took place a few months later by Data for Progress, where they asked a similar question: will he run, and then should he run? And they got a similar result. 50% of independents, so less than the 60 on the other one, but 50% think he will try to run in 2028. 17% think, only 17% say he should. And 59% of Democrats think he will try to run. Only 6% say he should. And this one's kind of interesting. It says,
well, I mean, I'm in that category. I think he will try, and he shouldn't. So,
wait, you think he's going to? I thought you said he. Now I'm completely confused. I thought you didn't think he was going to run.
Well, he's going to put feelers out there, obviously. Mm-hmm. Like he's going to talk to people about it. He's going to
do what Gavin Newsom just said. He's going to try to talk it into the existence. He's going to like put it out there.
Well, he's going to talk to different attorneys. He's going to like look at different legal theories. He's going to basically survey the landscape to see what is the reality of him having the ability to do this. Right. I think all of that is going to amount to them telling him, no, this is insane. There's no way that you can do it. And I think he's going to abandon ship. So I think that's what's going to happen. Oh, okay. So look, if they ask me, do I think he's going to attempt it? I'd say, yeah, because he's going to look into it. Well, I mean, look, you don't do a January 6th and think, oh yeah, he's not at least going to look into it. He's definitely going to look into it.
Okay, that's why I was getting frustrated with you, because I didn't understand. It seemed so counter to what I understood what you were saying.
No, look. Okay. I mean, I think we have the same position, right? You think he's going to look into it, but I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be more reserved about embracing the fucking crazies.
Right.
Because there's too much to lose. There's too much to lose. He basically, right now, he is perceived as, like, he would go out being loved. And I just think, obviously, he would be. Look, even him saying the thing with J.D. Vance would be too cute, that being too cute. Him doing any of these things that he's going to look into, I think will come out on the too cute spectrum. So I don't think he's going to do them. And I also think that at that point, the further the Democrats go down this, oh my God, he's a dictator, he's going to do it. I think he's less likely to do it just to prove them wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really
they
joke,
look more like idiots
when he says it, because then it's serious, right?
That he's looking into it?
Yeah.
He's in the clip, his words are very clear. He says, I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't say I am. He doesn't say we're looking into it. He says I would like to, which is, I mean, that's pretty modest. But obviously he knows that the Democrats are going to take that as I am, and I'm a dictator, and they're going to go hair on fire crazy.
So is the distinction you're drawing is that he's going to try, but then realize that he can't, so he'll back down. And the Democrats are saying, well, he's going to try and he will not back down. Is that the distinction?
There you go. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
The Democrats, their whole narrative hinges on Donald Trump not backing down. Yeah.
Right. I see.
And I think you're sort of as they clearly diverge from reality, they look bad.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't know. What we're saying here isn't really a divergence from reality in a way, because you're like, well, no, he is going to try to run. He's just going to then realize that it's not feasible. It's not. With that, as of now, he is thinking that he will try to run. Is your position?
Yeah, I don't think he's thinking he's going to try to run. He's not getting ready for a presidential race in 2028. He's talking to some people about the plausibility of something like that. He's getting feedback from people about the plausibility.
Why would you need feedback if you're not thinking it's going to be something you potentially want to do?
Because look, you obviously want to get feedback on all kinds of things.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you want feedback on that? Okay. He would like to run for a third term.
Right.
That's exactly what he said. I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
So he would get feedback because he would like to.
Right.
I think the big miscalculation, I said this before, but I'll say it again. I think the big miscalculation that the Democrats are making is they are thinking that Trump saying these kinds of things are really offensive and scary for moderates, for independents. And I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that they're terrified by Trump investigating a potential third run.
I don't know if they're terrified, but I mean, 2 polls said overwhelmingly moderates think he shouldn't do it.
Well, 1/3 of moderates said what?
It was, in one poll it said 60% thought he was serious and only 16% said he should do it.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So 84% of independents think he should not do it.
This poll is not good because obviously the poll, like I said, I'm in that poll because when they are talking about, there's a huge gap between talking to some attorneys about the plausibility of it and talking to heads of the military about supporting a coup, right?
Right. Well, I think
and the question doesn't really encompass that, right?
I think if the question is, here's the question. I'll read you the verbatim question in one of the polls. It says, when Trump talks about the following things, and they give 4 things, do you think he's serious about it or not serious about it?
Okay.
And then one of the things was it was Trump serving as a 3rd term as president, even though the Constitution prohibits him from running for president again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so 61% of independents looked at that and they said, yes, they think he is serious.
Yeah, because he thinks he can
potentially
overturn change the Constitution, or do they think he's going to do something illegal? I mean, that's the big question, right?
Well, even
because the Democrats narrative, he's going to do something illegal.
Yeah, but even embedded in the question, because it's a very leading question, it's Trump serving a 3rd term as president, even though the Constitution prohibits him from running for president again. So even within the question, it's a very leading question. They say that it's illegal to do this, and still 61% of the people that responded that identify as independents said they think he's serious, that he would do this.
Do you think those people think the Constitution is unchangeable?
I think that the majority.
Implicit in the question is.
I think the majority of people interpret that question, and they're going to think he's going to try to do it regardless of the legality of it.
I would like to ask the question. I would like to ask the question, even though the Constitution prohibits it, and Trump doesn't have the votes to change the Constitution, that would be more. That would be more clear. Like, obviously, he has to do something illegal here. There's no real path aside from some sort of nefarious means.
Well,
they should have just come out and asked, do you think Trump is going to try to serve a 3rd term, even though through subversive means?
Well, it's not really. It's a different question, because the question was just, do you think he's serious when he says that?
It's a better question, though.
Well,
I would like to know if moderates think he's going to do something nefarious to serve a 3rd term.
No,
that's a real question to ask.
It would be an interesting question. Would be to say, like, do you think Trump would do anything necessary?
Yeah, there you go. Now you're asking a real question here.
But
you're not giving him any wiggle room.
Right. Well, it's not a question of wiggle room. It's a different question, because then we're talking about, like, okay, well, how far is someone willing to go versus, well, when someone says they want to do something, are they joking or not? Because the conversation, hold on. The conversation about this, which is what we talked about in the beginning of the stream, was it when Trump does this, is he joking or is he not? Obviously, a lot of Republicans, the majority of Republicans, think he's joking. They do not think that he is serious.
Yes.
But the majority of Democrats and the majority of independents do think he's serious when he says that. They don't think it's a joke.
The wiggle room is that you can read the question 2 ways. You can read it the way that we did it, which is explicit. Is he going to do something nefarious, right? Or you can read it, is he going to stay within the law and try to change the Constitution? That's the problem with the question. That's the wiggle room.
Okay.
So like you're basically throwing both parties into answering yes to that question, even though that's like night and day scenario wise.
Okay. Well, I don't think there was one. I didn't find a poll that asked that question in that specific way for us to make.
Well, I think the reason why they don't ask it that way is because these pollsters want the wiggle room. They want to be able to say, oh, Trump is going to do something nefarious. They want to be able to spin the poll. So
I don't think they even thought of it the way that you're suggesting.
If they came out, if they had a poll that they asked Americans, they asked moderates, do you think Trump is going to do something subversive to win another third term? And it comes out 5% of moderates believe that. Then the Democrats look crazy. They look insane because every single Democrat believes that's true. Why would they want to elucidate that in a poll?
Because what if it doesn't? What if it comes up the opposite?
Well, look, let's see the poll. Okay, let's see the poll. Let's look at the poll. Come on, let's look at it.
I would imagine that there should be internal polling, right, on that question, that even if it's not public, the Democrats would want to know that answer to that, whether to know it's useful for them to keep pressing the button.
I would think, but look, the Democrats are so in crazy land now. I don't know if they're even doing that poll. They believe their own hype. They believe Trump is going to do something crazy to run for a third term.
Right.
Anyway, fascinating conversation. I'm glad we worked it out. I'm glad we got to the bottom of whatever the misunderstanding was. Gavin Newsom. Did you hear the Gavin Newsom clip where he was talking about, they asked him if he was running for president? His announcement for running for president is absolutely ridiculous.
What did he say? I didn't hear that, no.
Well, they asked him and he said, oh yeah, I'm thinking about running or whatever. I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't, and I can't lie, obviously. But look, we have millions of clips of Gavin Newsom lying. Remember when he did the thing with the phone where he's like, I'm on the phone with the president right now. And the woman's like, let me see, let me talk.
He's
like, I'm trying to reach him right now.
Yeah. It was like, what was it? I talked to him. Oh no, I left the message.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
so look, he's a fucking full-blown liar. Everyone knows he's a liar.
Yeah.
You should watch the clip. It's embarrassing. If Gavin Newsom becomes the Democratic nominee, I mean, look, he might be president. It could be. That could happen. Oh, that would be that's insane. Kamala Harris is still running too. Have you seen all the clips of her? People asking her if she's still running, and she's like so cringily trying to say that she's still in the race.
No.
Yeah. No. It's embarrassing. Anyway, let's read some super chats and log off.
JMax I got far for $20. Thanks so much. JMax says, so this is an isekai, and Trump was a high school junior mean girl from New York who was hit by a Planned Parenthood truck. It all makes sense. Oh my God. How did Sam not suggest that to me? That is actually exactly what happened. Trump is a high school mean girl who got isekai'd into being the son of a rich billionaire real estate mogul, and now she's living her life to be president. You are completely correct. Donald Trump is an isekai protagonist. That makes perfect sense.
He must listen to the stream.
Yes.
He is that isekai protagonist you're always talking about.
Yes, exactly.
The outro on Sunday was just masterful. Oh my God. I had to go back and watch it again.
Really? Gave you chills.
The Taylor Lorenz, the horrifying Taylor Lorenz AI video I put together and blew up to the entire size of the screen.
That is just terrifying.
It is.
Jason Waltington for $20 says, Adam, you're my guy. I love you, but you're carrying so much water. I hope you're at least getting some strong traps and forearms.
How is this carrying water? I think that the strategy is effective. I think I articulated that well. I'm not saying that the strategy is effective because I like Trump. I'm saying that I think the strategy is effective because it makes the Democrats look crazy. So, and you're welcome to disagree with me. Mm-hmm. So, but how is that carrying water for Trump?
Brian for $20 says, Sitch, why do you think people viewed Trump's indictments as frivolous and the news outlets as fake news, which led to him getting a bigger voting share? The same framing can be pushed with the next election cycle. Well, I think, and we talked about this during the time period I think the problem with the Trump indictments is that, well, you had 4 main indictments, I believe, at the time. 2 of them were legitimate, the January 6th elector scheme ones, and then documents one. And then 2 of them were, I think, ridiculous. The New York State ones. And the problem, I think, was twofold. Was number one, because there were the 2 ridiculous New York State ones, and those were the only ones that were ever actually adjudicated on before the election, is that it was very easy for people to conflate them all as ridiculous just because the 2 ones that were happening currently were the ridiculous ones. I think that's the first problem. The second problem, the more important one, is that, especially with the January 6th stuff, the concept of what was going on with the elector scheme was too complicated for the broad public to understand or to digest. And if you have that, so it's too complicated for people to really understand what's going on. And then they're going to pivot to the one they can't understand, which is like, oh, Trump is getting sued because, by a porn star, because he, gave a porn star hush money. That's ridiculous. What about Bill Clinton? He lied about getting a blowjob. Like, that's just where people's minds go because they're not going to understand the complexities of the elector scheme. So I think that's really why those laws or those indictments got hand waved away as frivolous by a lot of people and not really taken seriously. If it was something like clearer, and I think that's the difference with this. I think Trump, saying he's going to, potentially run for a 3rd term, it's pretty clear. It's not really like a complicated, the arguments in favor would be complicated, but the concept of it is not a very complicated concept.
Yeah, I think him thinking about it versus him really stepping in there and doing it, I think is where the disconnect is. Like the Democrats are acting as though he's already announced he's running for president in 2028. So anyway, I agree with Brian here that I do think there's that the Democrats are kind of misreading this situation. So, and I do think they obviously misread the other situation as well. Like they put a lot of eggs in the January 6th basket that I don't think came to fruition. We both talked about Trump being ridiculous with his Epstein responses. We both talked about Trump being ridiculous with his Zelensky stuff. We both talked about Trump being ridiculous with letting Putin fucking walk all over him, take advantage of him, push him around. So the whole, you're carrying water for Trump thing. I legitimately believe this strategy is an entertaining and good strategy for making the Democrats look crazy. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not doing it because I'm carrying water for Trump. Okay. If I thought this was a terrible strategy that was going to cost him the midterms, I would say so. I would totally say so.
Brian for $20 said, thank you. Says, both are correct. Moderates will probably say they don't like it, but the question is, do they not like it enough to not vote for him, or would they say Democrats are overseeing the reality situation? Well, I don't know about
exactly.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was saying too. Is that I don't think, unless something crazy happens, I don't think they wouldn't like it enough to not vote. Well, they can't vote for him, I guess, to vote Republican in the midterm, right? Or vote Republican in 2028, more likely. I don't think there's going to be that many moderates that are like, oh, I was undecided between J.D. Vance and whomever the Democrat is, and the deciding factor was because Donald Trump said he was going to run again, right? I don't think that's going to happen.
I agree with everything you just said about the January 6th stuff, that it's super complicated and a lot of people can't wrap their heads around it. So therefore it's easily dismissed. This is the politics of it, though. Obviously, the Democrats thought that they could explain it and that it would be career ending for Donald Trump, right? I do think there's a similar thing going on with this. Trump is running for a third term in 2028. I think that they are way overestimating how this is going to motivate people.
Well, there's two things. I don't think anyone ever tried to explain the elector scam. I don't ever really remember it getting a lot of play. That most of the time that
Destiny was definitely out there trying to explain it fucking 24/7.
Right.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about like the mainstream media, and this would be my vibe. I mean, there are articles about it, but the mainstream media understood that it was far too complicated to try to convince anyone. And I think that's why so much of the Democrat narrative was focused not on that, but was on the people breaking into the Capitol and the riot and everything.
Yeah, they tried to simplify it.
Right, because that's like a simple visual image you can flash on screen and be like, look at what's going on. So.
Right. Yeah. This is why I love politics, because you do ultimately get answers. We are going to have an election. Whatever happens in the election, there's going to be some sort of post-mortem on what were the driving forces that caused the outcome that we saw.
Mm-hmm. Right. This isn't, but I think this is really going to be, I don't think this is going to be a 2028 strategy, because obviously by 2028, people are going to know. This is a midterm strategy. I think you're going to see this. I think after the midterm's over, this is going to kind of not be talked about so much anymore, because it's not going to be very useful to talk about it.
Yeah, you're probably right there. And the closer we get to, like I said, as soon as the Republicans start announcing they're running for president and there's a primary and all that, it becomes less and less plausible that Trump is going to run in 2028. And anyone who says that looks more and more unhinged.
Mm-hmm. J-Mac Circuit Fire, thanks so much. Dad J-Mac for $20 says, first episode of the Isekai anime ends with Trump Chan losing the student council presidency and her vowing to make it succeed if it's the last thing she does. Somebody call the Japanese. Let's make this happen. It is insane to me, J-Mac, how what you're suggesting is so perfect.
It would be great.
I almost want to believe it's real. I would believe that this is the simulation. This is anime real, because I could so clearly see this storyline. Okay. Let me start from the beginning here.
To the top.
To the top.
Wooster.
I read that one when you were in the bathroom.
Oh, you did?
I'm at A-Div for 9 months. Thanks so much. Says, remember the quote, "We're coming for you kids" video, something like that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I don't think that, the left, obviously, I don't think gained anything from doing that at all. I think it just hurt them. Libertarian Sasquatch for $2 says, the left maniac, regardless of what he does or says. Of course. And it's always the goal should be, and it's kind of, this is what Adam's point was. The goal is you would want the other side to look like a maniac and for it to be very obviously not valid to the undecided voter. Because then they look and they say, look, that person's a maniac. It's very obvious they're a maniac.
Right. Yeah. You want them to look unhinged.
Right.
But if it's plausible that you're actually going to do what they're getting unhinged about, then it kind of weakens the strategy. Yeah, exactly. Right. Backfires. Exactly.
Cameraman 502 for $10 says, why do they keep asking? He will never ever say no, never, it's against the law. And all it's accomplished is that he can soft launch the idea until he massages a message his group can parrot. Yeah, it's interesting because that's kind of what Gavin Newsom was saying. And that is the potential part of it is that because here's what I would guess. I think the people that keep asking him this, they're doing it for two reasons. Number one, they want to get a bunch of clicks on a clip or a news article. And number two, they think it's going to help the anti-Trump side every time they ask him and he doesn't give a definitive answer. And then the irony is that it might actually do the opposite of that, either because it does what I'm suggesting, where people don't believe it, or it does what you're suggesting and maybe what Gavin Newsom's suggesting, where he uses it to soft launch to actually do the idea. And he's kind of floating it around in people's minds. And like by allowing the idea to kind of exist in the conversation, like here's why, because I wonder, is it better for Trump to allow the idea to float around in people's minds for years and then do it? Or is it better to just spring it on people at the last minute? Because I would assume it would be, I would think intuitively it'd be worse to spring it on everyone at the last minute. That would be the worse for Trump to do it that way.
There's no strategy to this, what I'm going to say now, but I do think Trump obviously wants a bunch of his supporters like sobbing because he's not running for president for a third term. Like he wants them to be to want it more than anything, and for him to just say, "Oh, I can't do it. It's the Constitution. We looked into it, but it wasn't possible, right? It's time for us to do other things." So it does serve him to really want his supporters to just desire that.
Big Daddy Squeezy for sure says non-consecutive is higher status because it's rare. Yeah, that's what your position was.
Yeah.
Well, this is
and it's more difficult to do, but that's why it is rare.
Yeah. Actually, it would be more difficult oriented. Yeah. It's the ugly mount.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it Sachs for 23 months says third term Trump versus Gavin Newsom, the biggest loser in 2028 is going to be my liver.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum due for $5 says, silly libs, don't you know that laws are only as prohibited as the interpretation? The party that can't define women or thinks 2 + 2 = 5 might have issues here. Ooh. Snip, snap.
I mean, it's so clear to me that Trump is not running a third term. I guess I should log on to one of these. What are these sites where you can bet?
But you're saying it's clear to you that he will decide in the future to not run for a third term because you think he currently is actively seeking out the potential to run for a third term.
I think he's telling the obstacles in his way. And I think the obstacles in his way are insurmountable. So ultimately, whatever he does, I think he's not going to win. He's not even really going to be able to run.
Yeah. But I think the difference is most people assume that the average politician or president
understands that
would instantly never even think to run for a third term. Like it wouldn't even be something that they would even attempt to do whatsoever.
Yeah, because they would fear looking foolish by even saying it out loud. Yeah,
right.
But Trump's whole brand is I do the impossible. So it helps him to say it out loud because he's like, yeah, of course it's impossible, but we're looking into it.
Right. Now that Don Kideth for 31 months. Hey, that Don Kideth says Trump is impervious to age. He will speak immortality into being, just like he spoke everyone into completely forgetting about the Epstein files. I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
I do think Trump would rather them talking about this than the Epstein files, which yes. I completely agree with you. He handled that like shit.
Yes. What are the odds that Trump is going to pardon Ghislaine as he leaves office?
That's a good question.
Because on one hand, I would think that would be fairly high considering the comments he made about her. But on the other hand, that would do a lot of reputational damage to his legacy.
Yeah. I mean, what would he gain from that? I guess he would gain just shutting her up.
I don't know what he'd gain from it. That's why I don't know why he would do it. But he just keeps making these comments about her. That was wrong. What happened to her, which is weird.
I mean, the person that went to interview her, that was probably a Trump loyalist trying to figure out what she knows, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe they found out that she doesn't know shit. What's the point in pardoning her if she doesn't fucking know shit?
Right.
I don't think she was around when Epstein was involved with Trump. She came later.
I don't remember what the dates were. exactly. But,
so she probably doesn't know anything about Trump.
mm-hmm.
She just wants to get out of jail.
J-Mac or Circuit Fire, thanks so much, Daddy J-Mac, for the 42 months being outside the simulation. Says everyone knows the best indicator for a high IQ is listening to the Sitch and Adam show.
There you go.
Exactly completely true.
Right.
Yes. There you go. Cameraman 502 for $5 says unironically FDR and the NRIA and its agency, the NRA, was the closest we've come to fascism.
How do you feel about that?
Based, everyone knows. I'm so happy. I really wanted a fascist takeover by FDR of the country. So
they say you learn something new every day. I can't believe I never knew that there was a cultural norm that presidents didn't try to run for a third term.
Yeah.
That FDR just said, fuck that cultural norm.
Now you know.
Yeah. No.
I don't know the history of the I assume you mean the NIRA, not the NRIA, which was the National Industrial Recovery Act, which is part of the New Deal. Libertarian Sasquatch for $2 says, as a dyslexic person, this is a nightmare test. LOL. I was thinking the same thing.
True.
You would have to, I would assume they'd have to come up with some different test if you're dyslexic, because there's way too many switching words and numbers and letters around all this other stuff.
Yeah, so much of your brain devoted towards seeing little characters and being able to decipher them.
Yeah.
I use my portion of the brain for other things.
It seems like it's got to be art related too, because it seems like there's a high number of artists that have dyslexia.
Oh yeah, because as soon as I found out that in order to see words and characters, you appropriate part of your brain that recognizes faces. I was like,
oh really?
Okay. So if I'm appropriating the facial recognition, I'm not doing it because I draw and paint. Like I'm constantly studying faces.
Well, it's weird too, because supposedly it's very rare, like hyper rare for people that are Japanese or Chinese that are learning a more
to have dyslexia.
Yeah, and I don't know. Japanese is phonetic; it is not pictographic. So I don't know. I think actually it was something like in Japanese for some reason, because a lot of Japanese, you'd read it top down instead of right left. They read it right left, but they also read it top down. For some reason, reading it top down doesn't makes it so you're not dyslexic. It's something about the left rightness of it is the issue, and then also the symbols are the symbols being the way they are makes it so people aren't very dyslexic.
The test for dyslexia is to give written IQ tests and oral IQ tests and then measure the discrepancy between the two. So if you score super high on something that's just oral, but you score super low on the written, they're like, okay, well, obviously nothing's wrong with this guy's brain. It's got to be some problem with the visual recognition of the written test.
Right. Oh, is that why? Because Japanese is a syllabic. Because each symbol represents a consonant vowel combination. Maybe that's it. Yeah. Nomad for $5 says cognitive test is this. Oh, here's the cognitive test question. Is this? And it's a picture of giraffe, a dog. Yeah, it's about the size of it.
Mr. Bra says, how did Adam not know about the cultural norm of no third term? Did he think all the presidents before him were being two terms was a coincidence? I never really thought about it. And I didn't know that. I guess I really didn't know that FDR was the first 3-term president.
Four terms.
Oh, he did 4 terms? Okay.
Well, I mean, he died early in his 4th term, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess I never knew that. I guess all the presidents before that were only 2 terms.
Yeah, he's the only one. He said, fuck the norms. I'm going to be a fascist.
This is the first time I heard that. Which it's super fascinating that FDR is like obviously a big time liberal, did Social Security and all this thing that people on the left love. And they're the ones coming out going, the cultural norms. Oh my God. Look, if Obama was talking about running for a third term, they would be like, fuck the cultural norms. Let's change the Constitution.
Well, that's sort of the problem with the politics and tribalism is that no one really cares about cultural norms whatsoever.
No,
it's
not at all.
It's just whether it's something they're in favor of or not. So,
yeah, which sucks. I mean, I care about it. I do. We need to have some cultural norms between parties.
Right.
We need to stop calling each other rightoids and groomers and libtards and
okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
I like groomoids better.
Why? Yeah. Why? What's up with all the name calling?
Sketch for $5 says, I just had my Zoomer buddy who's 3 years younger than me try to draw the clock showing 10:05 and he failed. Yeah, Gen Z is boned. I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised.
Ouch.
Because the thing is, everyone has a phone now. And that's how, I mean, I don't know about you, but 9 times out of 10, if I need to know what time it is, I pull out my phone and look at it. Right. I mean, I guess we're, in the apartment, there's only digital clocks everywhere. So, but usually I just look at my phone. So,
but isn't the icon?
The icon is an analog
circular clock. Yeah.
Well, no, the icon on the little, if I go to the menu, to like the little clock. Yeah. I'm saying like, you don't have on your, like on my lock screen. I don't open my phone. I just press the button.
No,
on
it's digital. Yeah, totally.
It says what time it is. Now you can make that analog, but I don't know what kind of monster. See, that's a good troll. What kind of troll is it? Like you're like on a date with someone and they pull out their phone and they have the analog clock on the lock screen. You're like, okay, this person's a psychopath. I need to get out of here.
What if it's a melting clock?
Yes. Though it's interesting. I wonder, and I think there actually has been studies on this. I think that part of the benefit of the analog clock is it does give you I think a better sense of like time, because you can see like how like you can see the shape of like how 15 minutes goes into an hour, how many times, or how half an hour goes in. Like you can see the visual shape of it. And I think that gives people a better intuitive understanding of how long things take or how long time actually is. Where in digital, I don't think you get anything like that whatsoever.
Because you see the distance it has to go around.
Yeah, I guess that's it. You have to see the distance, like the remaining distance left. So.
Right. Interesting.
Libertarian Sasquatch for $2 says, Jank won the run for president, fascist confirmed. There you go. True. They're like always from the $5. Says, I just wanted to know what I said that made Ace attack me when he generally didn't even know what skin color I was. I've never spoken to him, LOL.
Oh, okay. Well, it'll be a short live stream then. It'll be great. It'll be like a vacation.
Mm-hmm. Metal Works 411.90 for 43 months. Says, I'm behind, but I wonder if Vance was president, would he try to emulate Trump's political style, but execute it poorly because he lacks Trump's charisma?
I don't think so. But we will get an answer to that because he's definitely running.
Right.
He does seem completely different than Trump. And
Yeah. Memes brand for 8 months says, if Trump ran again somehow, I would never vote for him purely over the Epstein files unless he pulls a 180 and releases it all.
Look at this. But would you not vote for JD Vance because Trump didn't release the Epstein files? That's the question.
It's a real question. Brian for $2 says, Steve Bannon only wants attention and influence.
True.
Probably true. Yeah. PC for $5 says, Trump's third term plan. JD and Trump get married and Trump runs his first lady. Wouldn't be president, but we'd all know who's wearing the pants. That makes sense. You know what? That's why he renovated the first lady's office and turned it into the ballroom. So that when Trump marries JD Vance, he
gets the whole ballroom.
He gets the whole ballroom. He's like, oh, this is the better White House because it's bigger than like the normal part of the White House. Or the main part of the White House.
Huge.
Yeah. He gets to host all the galas and everything. Ryan for $5 says, I like looking at Marco Rubio as he has a moment of relief that Trump said he wasn't looking to run for a third term.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that bad? Because doesn't that mean that, like, if Marco Rubio doesn't know, that's a bad sign?
Right? None of these people close to Trump know anything. That's what the word on the street is.
Well, you can interpret two ways. Either A, which is really bad. It's really bad. Marco Rubio and people around Trump literally don't know if he's going to run for a third term, which is not good. Or I guess a slightly more charitable interpretation is he's looking relieved not because he said he's not going to run for a third term. He didn't know. He's looking more relieved because he's trying to explain to Trump that it's really fucking stupid for him to keep saying this publicly. And he keeps doing it. And so he's like, oh, thank God. You didn't say it again. Core Pop for $10 says we should build a large golden throne life support system in the White House to crown Trump as our eternal president and can feed him 1,000 souls each day so that he may live forever. Wow.
Someone really likes Trump.
Yes. They should get the giant like machine that Mr. House was in Fallout New Vegas. Just strap Trump into that thing. Have a big like computer screen of Trump's face that just talks to you.
Ugh.
All beef hot dog for $10 says just got a job as a mail carrier. Now I need audiobook recommendations, preferably fantasy or sci-fi. S-Class is the best class. And A-Team sniffs its own fart.
Wow.
Cutely, of course, though. You do it in a very cute way.
Well, I don't have any book recommendations for you in the sci-fi fantasy realm, but obviously S-Class probably reads a lot of fantasy books.
Yeah. Chat, help us out here. What are some good fantasy or sci-fi audiobook recommendations? Because it's been a long time since I read fiction too. I always liked. I mean, as a wee lad, it's been a long time since I read them. I like the Ender's Game series, though it gets kind of goofy after a while. Science fiction. I don't think I've even read that much fantasy beyond Game of Thrones, which are the Game of Thrones book are worth listening to. I would say, even if you've seen the TV show, if you like it, I would say are definitely worth listening to because they get substantially different. They're interesting. So, Children of Time, Hyperion, Welcome to Hell.
Oh,
yeah, obviously Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings and Dune, if you've never read those or heard those. The Expanse. Big Guy Squeeze for $10 says, what are the social political ramifications of Trump hosting a UFC event at the White House next year? If Trump sleeps Hassan is the main event, can we finally all accept him as president for life? Oh, if Trump sleeps Hassan in the main event. So you're saying if Trump knocks out Hassan in the ring, do we get Trump as president for life? It would definitely make me more on Trump's side.
It'd make you more in the Trump third term camp?
Yes. I'm still waiting to figure out whether these super chats count as tips or not.
I guess we are.
I'm still waiting on pins and needles for this one. So, Corn Pop for $10 says, so if 2028 Democrat candidate AOC flirts with packing the court or implementing a whiteness tax, should we laugh at the conservatives and Republicans who get triggered by it? Ooh, that'd be like the good version of that. Yeah. I would say no.
Do you doubt that AOC would implement a whiteness tax?
Yeah, but can I say the same argument? Well, she's just like floating the idea to see if it's possible, but at the end of the day, she realizes it's not possible and pull back.
It is very possible, though.
No, it's
How's
not.
a whiteness
It'd be completely unconstitutional.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I guess this kind of came up with Kamala Harris in the election because she was offering a lot of stuff that seemed unconstitutional, right? Like $25,000 business loans exclusively to black businesses, I think was one of the offers. And a bunch of people came out and said, oh, that's totally unconstitutional. There's no way that she can do that. And I was just like, okay, done. I mean, I'm going to use it to say that she's racist, but I'm not going to worry about it.
Though, as I said in the beginning, I do think that Trump has AOC doesn't have that branding that Trump has. So Trump can get away with a lot more stuff than AOC. I haven't really seen AOC been able to get away with shit. So. Memes Prep for $5 says, away from politics, I started rewatching Psych recently. It's one of the best TV shows ever made. Y'all need to watch if you haven't. I remember when it came out, like I'd watch episodes here and there. I always thought it was funny, but I never like sat down and actually watched Psych like in some sort of consistent way. But I've always heard good things about Psych.
Yeah, my wife really likes that show.
Mm-hmm. Alex Wright for 4 months says, Adam, quote, these people are evil for repeating what Trump is saying. Crying face emoji. When are we going to acknowledge that Trump brings a lot of this onto himself?
When did I say these people are evil for repeating what Trump is saying? I never said the Democrats were evil. I said they look unhinged, and I think it's a bad political strategy. I never said it was evil for them to do this. Why are you always misrepresenting me, Alex? Did I give you the impression that's what I was saying, Sitch? Democrats are evil?
Not that they're evil, that they're stupid. That was the impression I got.
Okay. It's a huge difference there. Misguided, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And look, we can go back, and if you just look at the words that Trump said, it's easy to see it both ways that we talked about, that he's looking into it. He's not planning on doing anything illegal. He's just basically surveying his options. Or you can see it the way the Democrats see it. Oh yeah, he's totally running for a third term and he's going to call up the military and fucking crack down on polling stations the way that they're spinning it. So.
Well, you could think he was going to try to run again without calling up the military. Like, I don't think that'd be a fact. Like, it's not going to work, but.
Yeah. And look, I think the Democrats aren't saying that explicitly because they don't want to seem too unhinged. So they're kind of walking the line as well.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hint at that maybe, but not actually come out and say it.
Alex Wright said, I assume that's what he's referring to. He said, you said The View was riling people up.
They are. They are.
Okay. Alex Wright for $5 says, Trump looking into running for a third term makes him look modest. LOL, what strange logic. Corn Pop for $10 says, unrelated question, but is Remake really that bad? I haven't played it yet because I'm waiting for part 3, but Sebi Wes roast of Remake is making me reconsider whether I should buy it in the future. I haven't seen Sebi Wes's roast of it. I should check that out. Especially because, Sam, everyone knows Sam's been pressuring me. I gotta do a video by the end of the year, and there's a strong potential that that's going to be a Final Fantasy VII remake video. It's hard to say. The first one I did find the first one enjoyable in terms of the action. I did think the gameplay was fun the first one for the most part. It did have a lot of like really boring sections of just walking, which was horrible. But the fights are enjoyable. If you played in Japanese, it's more tolerable. When you play in English, it's just, I don't know if it's just the voice acting or the dialogue is just fucking trash. And the rewriting of the story is so lame and doesn't work. The second one has a big problem, which is that it does this sort of open world thing for no reason, where it's like, you have an open world and there's a million different missions out there in the field for you to complete, which normally I don't have a problem with. I've played a bunch of games like that. I like that shit. But the problem with that in Final Fantasy VII is there's no story or plot context to almost any of these billion fucking missions that you're doing out in the world. And then there's like almost no reward even granted to you as a player for doing them. So you're just doing them and it just feels like you're wasting your fucking time doing a bunch of bullshit busy work. That's totally fucking pointless. It's actually baffling to me. I've never seen a large studio game so horribly designed in such a fashion when it comes to the open world missions for the Final Fantasy VII 2 remakes. Bo Peck for 39 months. Thanks so much. Says Adam, isn't the fact that everyone except 2 people told him he couldn't do the fake elector scheme a counterexample toward the guess about the third term attempt?
The situation with the elector scheme and the situation with him running for a constitutionally prohibited third term when he's already a 2-term non-consecutive president is just night and day. Night and day. The things that people do when they're desperate and the things that people do when they're on the top of the world and they've already won are night and day. So, I mean, obviously, if you think he's going to act exactly in the same way that he did after losing the election to Joe Biden in 2020, I think you're completely misreading the situation. What do you think, Sitch?
Is it in the question of like, so I guess the question is Trump going to do what he did with the elector scheme, which is ignore all the people saying he can't do it and then look for the 2 people that say he can't do it, right? That's the question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think the difference is I'm more persuaded by the fact, and maybe I'm very naive for thinking this. I'm more persuaded by the fact that I think Trump has some realization that him trying to actively run for a third term would be devastating to his political reputation.
Yeah, his legacy.
His legacy.
Yeah, destroy his legacy. He was willing to destroy his legacy in 2020 because his legacy was as a 1-term loser.
Right. It's a little different scenario. So, but that's where my thinking is. It's not, I would agree with the logic that Bo Peck is putting out, which is a different question, which is, I think Trump is the type of person where if he decides he wants to do something, he's going to ignore the 100 people that tell him he can't do the thing and find the one person that can tell him. So,
well, I do agree with that part.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if it does get in Trump's head that he does want to run, then yeah, I don't think 20 people telling him he can't run is going to stop him at that point. Kicking a stanza for TR says Orange Man bad unironically.
Why just look, Boba Peck, if you want to bet me $1,000 that Trump is going to run for a third term, I'm happy to take that bet. I will bet you $1,000 that Trump does not seek to run in the Republican primary and seek a third term for president.
Mm-hmm. And then
he doesn't try to stop the Republican primary from happening like Joe Biden did with the Democratic primary in 2020 or 2024 rather.
Big Daddy Squeezy for $2 says Orange Man bad ironically. There you go. So we got both. And then we got Brian for $2 says Orange Man. So we have unironically, ironically, and then it's just neutral.
That's great.
Like it. The Wooster for $2 says not running for a third term would be un-American. The Oceanist for $10 says why nations fail did mention that FDR tried to consolidate power by packing the courts. This was compared to Argentina, where they did something similar and succeeded. That's true. I don't remember if they mentioned the 4 terms thing, but yeah, they did talk about the court package.
Oh yeah, they talk about FDR extensively in Why Nations Fail.
Yeah.
Kick Nastanza says, he keeps saying it, Adam. What is he going to stop him? Kick Nastanza. I will bet you $1,000, $1,000 that you could easily take $1,000 of my money if you really think Trump is going to run for a third term and nothing is going to stop him.
What is what is the metric to make that determination?
There's all kinds of metrics. He could try to stop the Republican primary from happening. He would announce
no, but I mean, like,
that he's running for a third term.
Okay, so if Donald Trump, so for the bet, it would be like, okay, Donald Trump has to come out and say, I am running for a third term.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
What if he says, I'm running for a third term, and then the next day he's like, I'm just kidding, I'm not running for a third term. Do you still lose the
then
bet?
I would win the bet.
Okay.
He's got to run. He's got to announce that he's running for a third term and then actually run for a third term.
Okay.
Yes. He can't announce and be fucking with the media and be like, gotcha.
Eric Diode for 5 Canadian says, what's your opinion from the Project Veritas video of a DOJ official saying they are taking all the Republicans out of the Epstein files? It's interesting because I did see that clip. I'm not surprised.
Don't you love James O'Keefe now? What?
Yeah, I know, it's funny.
You were a hater of James O'Keefe.
I found it interesting because I was like, holy shit. Like, I was very surprised that James O'Keefe would be pushing that, since he seemed to be very one-sided in terms of his politics. And that would be a very clear example of that not being the case. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. I did see that. I'm not surprised that no one on the right really talked about it at all. I still have the exact same opinion I have for all Project Veritas stuff, which is I don't feel really confident into buying a lot of the Project Veritas stuff unless I could see the full context of the video, because they have this strategy. They have the same strategy. The strategy is they find some guy or girl who's, working some job, and they get some honeypot person to go on a date with them and just try to extract all this stuff. And, how many men haven't been on a date with a woman, and they start bragging or mouthing off about a bunch of shit they don't really know, right? Because they don't think they're on camera. So before I believe, I'm going to be consistent here. Before I believe that clip from Project Veritas, I would like more information. Definitely worth meriting looking into, but I'm not going to just believe it from that clip.
I guess the chat censored my response. Kickness was hilarious. He's like, what if Trump dies or is just deposed before 2028? Then Adam just gives me $500. I said, no, the bet is off if Trump dies. So, But look, it censored that out. I guess I can't talk about Trump dying.
Right.
They're like, oh my God, someone's advocating for violence.
No Matter for $5 says, recommended science fiction book for Adam, Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nescosta.
Didn't we look at that book?
We did.
I mean, I got to admit, I'm slightly interested.
Yes.
Just in the train wreck of it all.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're just interested in the train wreck of it. So there you go.
Alex Wright for $5 says, are we going to discuss Trump's decision to raise tariffs on Canada over a Reagan ad that aired during the World Series? I don't think he'll run again.
I wanted to, but we got bogged down in this dumb argument about the third term.
I do think that it's horrendous that Trump did this, slap the tariffs on Canada over the Reagan ad. So I probably agree with you on that, Alex, that it seems super petty, super mean girls, super stupid. Like, now we're making foreign policy because another country offended you. It's off brand for Trump. Trump is supposed to be, well, look, the left
is
says,
it off brand for Trump?
the left, I guess maybe it's not. Maybe it is. Maybe the left's branding of Trump is working now.
Yes.
He's like, oh, they're going to say I'm thin-skinned anyway. I might as well be thin-skinned. Yeah, it's super, super weak sauce. So,
well, it's weird because, well, first of all, factually, Trump was either wrong or lying in a way that's kind of baffling. Because he came out and he was like, well, everyone knows Reagan was very pro-tariff.
Yeah, which is bullshit.
Which is totally bullshit. And if you listen to the clip, it's like a 5-minute clip of Reagan talking about it. It's 100% objectively clear that he's anti the concept of tariffs. He comes out and he's like, he has to like bend over backwards to say, oh, these, he doesn't even call them tariffs. He calls them duties. These duties that we're putting on Japan are just temporary. And I fucking hate to do it because tariffs are the worst thing in the fucking world ever. And I'm just hopefully using it for some sort of negotiation tactic because I hate the concept of tariffs. They're so fucking awful and bad. Like, that's what
Reagan says that, or Trump says that?
Reagan says that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm like paraphrasing it.
No,
he says
obviously,
it much
hugely.
more eloquent way because he's the great communicator, right? So that's basically the argument that Reagan is throwing out there. And compare the Trump's like tariffs are amazing, blah 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 blah. And so it is very bizarre for Trump to come out and then, I guess not bizarre, but it's still bizarre to me. The shininess of it hasn't worn off yet. The Trump to just come out and blatantly lie, and no one cares, I guess, to say that Reagan was very pro-tariff, and then to use that to throw a 10% tariff at Canada, which it was strange, even stranger to me, because he says that in his his True Social post about it, he said that the ad was somehow supposed to affect the Supreme Court, because right now the Supreme Court is getting ready to hear and to potentially rule on whether Trump even has the legal authority to do the tariffs. And so his response to that is to do an action that would make it look worse for him. Like, it makes it look worse for him to argue his lawyers to argue Supreme Court he does have the authority to do this, when it's very clear that this recent action was completely petty and that he's factually
whimsical even.
Yeah, whimsical even. So
do you think that's going to go over well with the Republicans on the Supreme Court? I doubt it.
No. Yeah. So it was strange. The whole thing about it is very strange, but
especially Supreme Court justices who like to think of themselves as the most principled people on the planet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because then it puts the tariffs more in the camp of making it seem like it's him doing it for personal reasons as opposed to for the good of the country. At least that's the way it'll be framed. So, Alex for $5 says, "Thank God. Why can't we get more of this sensible Adam? The Adam that agrees with me." There you go. I think Adam just left when I read that. The Oceanist for $5 says, if Cuomo somehow wins New York City, do you think that it will take out the progressive movement? That would be their biggest defeat. I think there's no fucking way it's going to happen. But yes, if he does somehow win, it would be a huge, massive blow to the progressive movement. If he somehow wins, they're going to go full election denial. They're going to say, oh, it was all just, a trick. It was all just a scam. He must have rigged the voting or something to that effect. So. Already says when Adam comes back for scheduling. Phil Pierce for $5 says, do y'all think the very T left will work the civil war within the Democratic Party? If so, why? Because to me, it looks like they already lost. Y'all? What's that? Are you smoking? What's happening?
Oh, I thought my mic was off.
Oh, okay.
No, look, they're.
Oh,
Albert in the chat is saying that I went to hit the bomb.
You left it. Do you think there
was a package on my?
Okay.
There was a package.
I want any porch pirates coming. Yeah.
No porch pirates around here. Yeah.
I don't know. I would.
Jay Leno or.
I would love to.
Stans is always against you, but he's so funny. I can't help. I like the guy.
That's nice. That's nice. I would like to believe that the far left has already lost in the Civil War internally. There was a very interesting thing. Maybe we'll talk about it on Sunday. There was this large drop. I don't know if it's getting a lot of play yet, though. There was some Democrat strategist who put out some like giant, like basically a Project 2025 packet equivalent. Only it was not what we were saying. Or theorizing on Sunday. It was the opposite. It was saying that the Democrats have become too woke and stupid and they need to focus on non-woke economic issues. So
this is the Democrats' Project 2025 or 2028?
Yes, there was someone that dropped a big packet like that. I don't know if it'll be influential or not. I hope it is, but
that would be great.
That is kind of interesting. So I would like to believe that, but then there is the flip side, which is, I'm sure that when Mamdani wins, that faction of the party is going to try to use that to galvanize support. Ace for $10 says, I'm available either Thursday or next Tuesday for the show. I'm busy right now with left-wing stupidity. The left is going after Hutch because he hasn't gone full tiny and knows moderation is the winning strategy.
Well, maybe we'll have Hutch on again. But yes, next Tuesday, you guys are officially booked then.
Cool.
Like Dialogue Always has already said he can do it. So
nice. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So see you next Tuesday, you cunts. Isn't that the euphemism for cunt?
That's the, yeah. Electro for $5 says, Sitch, go watch Treasure Planet. It's one of the best animated movies of all time. Yes.
Treasure Planet.
I'll check it out. Alex Wright for $5 says, thank God, why can't we get more of the sensible Adam, the Adam that agrees with me?
There you go.
Yeah, just listen, you got to agree with Alex more.
Well, when he's right, he's right. Like, obviously. It's frustrating when I can't agree with Trump without being accused of carrying water for him. So I just I think I think the Democrats are not, what they're doing is not going to be politically effective in the same way that the January 6th stuff wasn't politically effective. I mean, it was politically effective with the choir, but it wasn't politically effective with moderates. So many, and not only that, it had this finger wagging component to it that I think definitely exercised some psychological reactance in a lot of voters. I know it exercised some psychological reactance in me.
That's what's really going on.
But I never followed through and voted for Trump, but I think a lot of people probably did. This whole idea that, because they basically came out and said, "Oh, this disqualifies him. This means you can't vote for him. He's 100% disqualified." And just go out and tell people, "Oh, you can't do that," when they can, because he's on the fucking ballot.
And when you heard that, you're like, "These motherfuckers." How dare?
I knew a lot of people that is the finger wagging move. They're like, "Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, he's disqualified. He's disqualified. Voter disqualified." Okay. Right. All right. Keep telling yourself that.
Sal's Temp for $2 says, you won't have to wait till next year. There's 2 governor elections a week from now. Hopefully they'll bring us some clarity.
Oh yeah, look, Mamdani. That's going to be something interesting for us to cover.
No, he's mayor, not governor.
Yeah, but I'm saying Mamdani election is also on November 4th.
Oh, right. So. Well, I don't know. I don't feel like Mamdani's really going to tell us about anything because it's New York City.
New York City.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about the history of Virginia, New Jersey governors, if they've mapped onto political trends. And I still think that with Trump and with our current news cycle, everything is things can change so quickly. I really think things are going to be up in a flux until very close to each election, whether it's the midterm or 2028.
I think the redistricting in California is going to pass simply because as soon as I saw it printed on my ballot in big, bold letters that we've mailed a mail-in ballot to every single registered voter in the state, I was like, it's over. It's over.
If things maintain the way they are now, where, there's a bunch of deportations and people on the left don't like that, but the economy stays good and Trump manages to keep us out of a bunch of, any more wars, and maybe there's some final resolution between Ukraine and Russia, I think that would be a huge benefit to Trump in 2028. But if the economy has some AI bubble explosion and fucking melts down, or food prices or housing prices go crazy or something, or we invade Venezuela, then obviously everything's going to change. So I think we're way too much in flux at the moment. Solid for $2 says, for context about your boy Zach, he used to be, quote, on our side and was a critic of SJW Marvel. Then he burned all his bridges with everyone except Ethan Van Sciver because he thinks they're too negative and don't want things to get better.
It's Ethan Van Sciver. And yeah, I don't. Every time I hear some clip of your boy Zach, it seems like Bizarro World. Your boy Zach. So I've always thought he was majorly contrarian. He was just driven by contrarianism. So
okay, maybe.
I think that makes up a lot of his personality. So I think a lot of his takes are just driven by what is everyone else's take. Mine's going to be polar opposite of that. And he probably liked the Barbie movie.
Well, I mean,
Ethan Van Sciver liked the Barbie movie. What am I talking about?
That was very contrarian. But no, I mean, I understand that. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of his content to have an opinion on one way or the other. But I have interacted with people like what you're saying, Stella, where is someone who, because it's true, there is a lot of negativity, an insane amount of negativity in the quote anti-woke side, if we're gonna call it that, of media analysis, especially towards Marvel and a lot of modern media and stuff. And so maybe that could upset people or upset someone who wants to like all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think we could have really gone a lot harder on the Tron Ares with the woke stuff. I mean, I do think all of that climate change stuff, and it wasn't super explicit, but I do think the message was there. There was obviously the girl boss protagonist. We could have completely savaged that movie as being woke, but
yeah, but it was bad.
Just as a movie,
didn't like about it. Yeah, it had nothing to do with whether it was woke or not. It just wasn't good. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I am curious. I do feel somewhat compelled to watch one battle after another.
I know everyone's talking about it. I have not seen it. I know nothing about
it. Because there was some Ben Shapiro talked about it and didn't like it, and then there was this other guy who I don't really know anything about except that he made a video that was 100% defending Hassan in the dog shot collar gate, but framed in a way that it wasn't obvious that he was defending Hassan in the shot collar gate. And he came out attacking Ben Shapiro for calling one battle after another woke or bad. So now I'm like curious to actually see it, to see if I could have like a take on it or not.
I mean, we should have covered it when it came out, obviously, but sure. I mean, we could cover it. It's not like we didn't cover Loki 4 years too late.
That's true.
We're definitely. I just saw this. The CEO of NVIDIA is saying their AI chips are now manufactured in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Manufactured in the good old US of A.
Look at that.
My NVIDIA has doubled, so that was a good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gorosero for $5 says, to defend your boy Zach, he has really shitty opinions on movies. And having one seemingly good comic, Absolute Batman, in publishing is the healthiest the industry has been in decades. That's fair. That'd be sort of my guess on the situation as well. So
I have never read any of Zach's comics, and so I don't know about his storytelling chops. I did watch his videos, and obviously when he's talking about representation in comics and stuff like that, I mean, I agree with him. People are shoehorning that kind of stuff in. I don't know that I ever really heard him talk about story in any sort of traditional way. You know, I always think of story as somebody wants something and is having difficulty getting it. That's like the traditional story. It's people solving problems. So, yeah. I don't know if he has any storytelling chops, to be honest with you. I know that was a big thing with Comicsgate. It was like people were criticizing the storytelling of the mainstream comics, and they were like, we could do better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Storytelling is difficult. Especially when you think, oh yeah. It's interesting to me that there's so much of Comicsgate is like kind of a conservative storytelling movement, but they don't look to traditional story. I guess they do because they talk about the hero's journey and stuff like that. So, which hero's journey is definitely traditional storytelling.
Yeah, 100%. Solid for 2 hours says, I talked to my girlfriend who doesn't care about internet drama but loves animals about Hassan. Giving all the information I could remember, and her take was he shocked her. It's abuse. Dogs don't lie around that long. He's a scumbag. Well, good for her. She sounds like a keeper.
My dad trained dogs in the military, and he said they never use shock collars. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. The Oceanist for $5 says, thoughts on the Voting Rights Act case in the Supreme Court. Is that the case about, isn't it about whether you can have a minority district intentionally, right? Like you can draw a district that's like a quote black district or something.
Yeah, I think I watched like one video on it. I don't really know it in detail. You missed Boba Peck's $5 super chat too.
Oh, I did. But yeah, I haven't really been focusing on it that much either. In terms of that argument, I mean, I've never been super comfortable with the concept of drawing districts based on racial lines either. I understand. I don't really like gerrymandering, and maybe you would have a problem where if you get rid of that, the gerrymandering gets 5 or 10 times worse, which I think is the argument that a lot of people are making. But I would prefer that there be a better alternative to gerrymandering than creating a race-based district, which I think that the race-based districts actually, I'm trying to remember, there's a video I saw like a while ago. Let's just see if I can find it again. Someone made a really compelling argument about how race-based districts lead to like insane levels of corruption. And they're kind of making an argument that they think that's why a lot of black areas in the country are continually screwed over in terms of infrastructure and development and all this other stuff. So I don't really like that element of it. I don't like race-based districts. Vopek for $5 says, Adam, for the record, I agree with Sitch's position. Trump's goal is his legacy and it can ruin it. Just testing your logic. S-class is best class.
Why question your logic with that S-class is best class? But thank you.
How dare you? How dare you? Dr. Adam refriended Brigadier General for $10, part 1 of 2.
Ooh, a two-parter.
A two-parter, thank you. Oh, for $20, I'll read them both. Thank you. Says, Zach's right, things are getting better. Marvel and DC have stepped it up, but people keep recycling 2018 takes that don't fit what's being made right now. Most of the woke stuff wrapped up around 2021 after Top Gun Maverick hit big. Since then, we've had way more good movies and shows. I call it the Top Gun Maverick effect.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked Superman a lot more than I think other people did. And so it's sad that it didn't make more money because obviously that's going to influence a remake or the sequel. I question the Supergirl movie, but if they're making a Supergirl movie that's aimed at women and I don't have to see it, then that's fine with me, right?
I think in terms of like I don't know, in terms of TV shows, I don't know what we mean by that in terms of like broadly every TV show. But in terms of like Marvel movies, I think that after 2021, maybe you can make the argument that the Marvel stuff was less woke, but I don't know if it's really better. Because I'm looking at like what came out after 2021. You got Spider-Man No Way Home. Which
you didn't think Thunderbolts was like
which I
amazing?
Thought was, well, hold on. So you got Spider-Man No Way Home, which I liked. That was fine. But then you have Doctor Strange 2, which was trash. You have Thor: Love and Thunder, which was trash. You have Black Panther 2, which was trash. You have Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania, which was bad. You have Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which was okay.
What? Quantumania was trash. Come on, what are you doing?
I would watch I don't think Quantumania is good, but I would watch it over Thor: Love and Thunder or Doctor Strange 2.
She touches the ship and gets all the information? Come on. What the fuck was that?
Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I don't think it was trash, but I think it was the weakest of the Guardians movie. I never saw the Marvels, but it looked fucking horrible, and I assume it was horrible. Same thing. Well, I like Deadpool and Wolverine, so there you go. That was one I would just
yeah. What are you
like,
doing?
Straight up, I did like Deadpool and Wolverine. So there's one. I didn't see Captain America: Brave New World. I didn't see Thunderbolts. We talked about Fantastic Four. I thought it was kind of like whatever. I guess. So we'll see how the next Spider-Man comes out. So I don't know. In terms of the movies, I'd say I guess it's better in terms of it's not being woke, if that's the criteria. But in terms of like quality, I'm not sure I would agree.
Electro coming in here for $5. I'm glad Superman did not make more money. That movie was awful. Oh, look at this. Trying to be controversial here. I just rewatched Superman on streaming, and I liked it better in the theater. On second watch, I was like, there's a lot of really corny shit in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be curious to watch it again too. I was kind of iffy on the whole thing. So, anyways,
I did make it all the way to the end though. So
that's true.
I wanted to see that cool scene with Terrific. The music video scene. I like that song a lot. I listen to that song all the time now. 5 years time. It's 5 years time. I don't know who the band is, but it's a great song. You should listen to it. All right, let's. Well, yeah, this was great, Sitch.
Yes.
Good argument.
Yes.
Good fun.
Always fun. Anyway, thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you on Thursday, where we will be talking on the other channel about Chainsaw Man, baby.
Yeah, should be fun.
Vroom vroom.